Yeah, it's interesting news. I seen the last Bellator, last UFC. There was probably what 6, 7 guys that were over that 15-pound limit. You know, that's some serious implications for fight cards in the future. So I think guys should start fighting around more their natural weight because we got serious, penalties for it now, especially in California, really. But yeah, I mean, Chris moving up, I guess that's him fighting in his natural weight now too. So I guess it all kind of full circle here.
Do you feel like we're progressing in the right direction overall when it comes to weight cutting and fighter safety?
I do. I do. Fighting, depleting yourself, 20, 30 pounds before a fight and then trying to fight, it's just not good for your body. Overall, at the end of the day, when you're older and, it's just not good for you. Like, it can't be good for your kidneys. It can't be good for your liver to be doing that to yourself.
Dominic, you haven't been in the UFC that long. A lot of fans, especially the casual fans, might not know you. This is your big opportunity, ESPN, main event, against a legend like Chris Weidman. What are those fans going to be saying about you after the fight?
He's the one. It's the one. Well, get him to fight John. It's the one. Be the one. Be undeniable.
Why are you the guy to beat John?
Because I'm me. I mean, we'll talk about that after this fight. But right now I'm worried about Chris.
Do you feel like with the timing of this fight that you have a leg up on the Corey Anderson Walker winner too? Jones isn't booked. You have a few weeks here where if you go out there and win, you're the guy that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, but then also I have a leg up in wins. I have 6. It'll be 6 wins. I have 5 current wins in UFC. I'm the highest ranked. There's my leg up. Like, I've done the work already. Like, that's the leg up I have.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dominic.
Doc.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of it.
Good luck.
All right, John, we'll take you down to your next stop.
Hey, can I stay in that room? You guys, any space? No?
Good job. All they can say is no. Really? Like twice. Once or twice. Think they just show up. Not that you knock it all out right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy that's not. Space for now. Maybe.
Jeremy, how weird has this whole experience been? I mean, I'm sure you're happy to get another fight in, after what happened last time, but just having to run this whole thing back and talk about everything and post everything so close after what happened. What's this been like for you?
It's fucking great, Come here to a great American state here in Boston. It's a little bit more rowdy, we're on my soil. So everything's great. I get to come back straight to America, train with my coaches, drive my car. I felt like I was in jail, so it's like I got out. Like everything's brand new. So I feel great, man. We're here to run it back, bring a banger to Boston. feel incredible.
I was going to ask you, I mean, if there's almost pauses, because not that the first fight wasn't hype, but now I feel like everybody's really paying attention and going, man, this fight is going to be insane. So I know you wouldn't have liked things to happen the way they did in Mexico, but is there some positives to take out of it that it seems like a bigger fight now?
Yeah, what if I would have knocked him out in Mexico? You see how they treated me there, probably would've killed me. It's all good though, it's a great thing, it's going to make it that much better when I put him on the canvas and he's staring up at the lights asking what happened, and I'm celebrating the win. It's just going to make it that much better. After all this shit that's gone down, when I put his lights out, it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a huge night for me.
I have to ask about the sunglasses. Is that just style today, or is there function behind those sunglasses as well?
Keep the fingers out of my eyes, my man.
Are they like a special type of glasses? It's kind of like an interesting design. It looks kind of neat.
It's like some Randy Savage shit, huh?
That's what I was going to say.
Nice.
Or like an 80s bad guy or something.
No, I like style, so I feel good, look good. I'm going to fight great.
Jeremy, one of the stories heading into Mexico City was that you went up there early to get used to the elevation. Is there any disappointment that you didn't get to put to show, the training you did to be ready for that elevation? Any disappointment in it?
No, not at all, because we're going to run it right back. So it was a great experience. With the shit that went down, it doesn't take away from my experience in Zacatecas and the people that I met and the humble people in Mexico. I love it there. I'll definitely go back. I love that country. It's a beautiful country. I get it. You didn't get to see a fight. If I would have been on the audience and that shit would have happened, I would have been throwing beer too. So this time instead of that, I'm going to knock them out and then go drink a beer.
So obviously, you're a professional. You have a set schedule where you want to peak and this and that. How have you had to change that, being that it's such a quick turnaround since your last fight?
It ain't shit, man. I knocked out Du Ho Choi. 2 days later they call me and I go knock out Emmett. So this is going to be a little bit more vicious. So I'm lighter. I'm healthy. I'm in shape. I love staying active. I think people forget about that. A lot of people duck and dodge me along the way, so it's hard for me to get fights. Fighting twice a year fucking sucks. I make enough money to provide for myself, but I'd love to fight 3-4 times a year. Personal goal of mine is knock out Yair. All come out great health. I'll look to be in that next in line for if Zombie or Ortega drops off. So you bet your ass I'll fight 1 or 2 more times by the end of the year if it's possible.
You made your UFC debut in 2007. We've seen champions come and go, contenders come and go, and you're still here. What have you done differently from these other guys that's allowed you to fight at this level for so long?
Allowed myself to just be humble and grow, and realize that I'm not the best yet. When I first came in here, I was like a white belt. A lot of guys should have beat me, and I was knocking out black belts. That's just my heart, my grit, my mindset, my will to win. But what you don't see is my mind. I'm constantly looking for growth. I'm constantly trying to change, evolve. Look at my career. It was just hands, Then all of a sudden, I started throwing kicks. I got head kick knockouts, flying knee knockouts, left hook knockouts, elbow, ground and pound. Been in one of the bloodiest fights in UFC history. That's just a constant revolution of just constantly getting better, constantly grow and evolve. Charles Darwin said it best: it's not the strongest or the smartest person, it's the person willing to adapt to change. And I've been willing to adapt in this game, because if not, you see him drop off quick. If you're not trying to get better, you're not trying to grow. Even as a journalist, if you're not trying to do your job or grow, be first, be the fucking baddest motherfucker out there, then you'll fall off quick.
How much did you train with Tony Ferguson for this camp?
I got a couple days in with him just recently, so yeah.
How's that been? Because you trained with him the camp before for the first Yair fight. It's added. How has it sort of benefited your game training with him?
It's great. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's king of footwork, king of elbow, spinning crazy shit. He's fast too, man. Tony's a great guy to train with. It's been a pleasure.
And then what's one thing about Tony that maybe we don't get about him that you get to see? Some behind the scenes stuff like obviously very cerebral. What is there anything that comes to mind?
He's a nice guy.
Okay.
You talk about evolution and growth, and obviously you've been doing this for a long time. What do you think is like the biggest change from the Jeremy Stephens from 2007 to Jeremy Stephens that's going to be fighting on Friday night?
That was a long time ago, man. The biggest change is I've gotten a lot smarter. I work harder, but I also work smarter. I put them both together, and that separates me from the pack.
Are you just blown away at how much this game evolves over the years? You've been here for over a decade now, and it just continues to grow and grow, and fighters continue to come up and up. Are you surprised by that, or is this what you expected?
No, this sport's going to surpass me. When I'm long dead and gone, my grandkids, whatever, it's going to be a whole different sport. You look at guys like the Style Bender, who's just come in with dance moves and he can actually scrap. You're going to see a lot more of that. There's a lot more people around the world that we haven't really discovered yet. That's one of the greatest things about fighting for the UFC is it brings in the best talented. You get to come here and do some stuff like this to get people's personalities. So this is going to long surpass me, and that's why I joined this sport. I love it. I love the growth because this isn't a dead sport where it's this. And it's a clean sport now. You know, it's not like all steroided out motherfuckers just stomping each other's heads in. You're really seeing some beautiful artwork here. You know, we're artists.
You talk about how you have to evolve or you kind of perish at this point. So with you, do you get motivation from other fighters? Like, are there fighters that fight on cards and you have to watch them fight because it rejuvenates you and motivates you even more?
Yeah, it doesn't really like give me like motivation, but it's like, damn, like say Stylebender. You're like, damn, that motherfucker can dance. He's got the flash. Like he's got it all. He's like the must-see TV. I'm a fan of the sport before I was ever even a fighter in the UFC. So I definitely watch the fights. I mean, shit, if there's a street fight out there right now, I'd probably sit back and sip a tea and watch it. You know, I love fighting.
What do you make of this BMF title coming up and the 2 fighters that fought in your old weight class?
You got to get me in that motherfucker. That's for sure. Seriously, I mean. I'd go back up 55, 70, you know. I trained with Masvidal, great guy. You know, one of my good mentors, Josh Neer, he trains with Diaz. Seeing him come up, I thought we were going to fight at 55. But I love seeing that. Them guys get their money. They've been putting in 17 years. I've been a professional fighter since I was like 16. Well, not professional, but I've been fighting since I was 16, professional at 18. That's like 17 years in the game. I'm up there with the best. I fought the best, fought nothing but killers, you know. So, you know, no one's ever taken the dog out of me. If you're gonna beat me, you're gonna be weaseling away, running for your fucking life and squeaking out decisions. You know, trying for a little bullshit takedown just to hold me down. You know, no one's ever taken the dog out of me. So, you can put me in that BMF title runner coming up. So, I'm down.
Talk about being a fan of the sport. Obviously, you have a big title fight coming up here in December in your division between Max Holloway, Alex Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that one? Who do you think takes it?
I think after seeing Max treat Frankie the way he did, I'm thinking Max. I think Max has the experience, the range, the takedown defense, and Volkanovski, he's a midget.
You spoke about your grandchildren. When the historians write, the MMA historians write about you, what is your grandchildren going to read about you?
Savage. There's going to be a picture of me.
Did you catch the CSAC weight cutting regulations that they put in yesterday? Did you see that about the? Oh, I guess you didn't.
No, bro. I'm not big into the news. Yeah.
Okay.
Fake news. Nah.
When you had your first fight when you were 16, if someone told you that all these years later you'd be a main event, then a co-main event, you'd be here in Boston getting ready to fight on this huge card, what would you have thought if someone said that to you?
Stop fucking lying. No, you know, that was long before I was in my first fight, probably second, third grade, bro. You know, I moved around a lot of schools, coming from where I come from to be here in Boston, to be co-maining, have main event fights, making money like I am, bro. I would have never dreamed of this. It wasn't until people really kind of instilled that belief, like my grandfather, who I grew up watching UFC with, and my uncle who put me into wrestling and baseball, like the coaches that I had that kind of instilled in beliefs. I didn't really have that at home. So to come here, be here in front of you guys and be talking about this is the only way I can kind of relate to people out there that are really trying to chase their dreams. You know, never give up. I say it all the time, never give up. You know, believe in yourself, and if not, find someone who does believe in you.
How much does that make you appreciate this journey?
Shit, about made me cry right there, bro. I mean, you're taking me back. It's incredible, man. I love this. I love fighting. You know, it's not a sport. It's true fighting, but I love it. I love being in the gym every day. I love being able to take this, like my growth, and teaching it on to my kids. You know, martial arts is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. My job doesn't end when I knock out Yair. You know, it keeps going. I got to go home to my kids. You know, they got softball. You know, they got gymnastics. They got other stuff they're doing. So I got to go and instill my greatness and what I know about life and put it into a 10 and 8-year-old, so that by the time they're 16, 18 years old, they're not relying on no man to take care of them. They're taking care of themselves. They're growing. They're evolving. They're chasing their dreams because they're like, hey, if my dad can do it, I can do it. You know, that's the shit I love doing.
Jeremy, in recent interviews, you called yourself a real fighter. You just said you were a savage. You said you're a bad motherfucker. Do you think Yair fits that description too, or no?
No, he's a karate kid, man. He's a karate kid. I don't think he is, bro. I think he's trying to be something that he's not, and he's going to find out the hard way come Friday night when his lights are out.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, guys.
That's the one we need.
That's usually my.
All right, Joe, another home game. Does it ever get old?
It never gets old. It's great fighting in Boston. You know, it's just awesome. You know, we got so many crazy fans. I've had so many fights like before the UFC here, and I've had a couple in the UFC, but it's always great to come back home.
You've had 2 in the UFC, like you said. One went your way, one didn't.
Yep.
Last time we saw you in there was a long time ago. Michael Johnson, obviously not your night. How important is it for you to try to erase that memory? Is it anything that you're even thinking about, or?
Unrelated. Doesn't matter. I mean, the fight. We tried to do some new things. We try to change some things, and it didn't work out. Like we tried to work on me not covering up so much and more slipping punches. Ate a huge left hand and just never recovered. One punch set the entire tone of the fight. So it doesn't really matter. Doesn't affect me. I'm like oh, I can't lose it. Like it's irrelevant.
And yesterday at the open workouts, you said you're taking this one fight at a time. Is it frustrating at all? You said that people were asking you quite often, "Oh, are you going to fight again? Are you done? Are you not?" Is it tough to focus on a fight when you got that coming at you?
Not a big deal. I mean, I understand exactly what they're saying. I'm 35 years old. I've had this is my 27th fight in the UFC. I've had a lot of fights. I've had a lot of memorable fights. People remember. There's been times when I've done great. There's been times I got beat up a little bit, and people remember that. So. No, but it's not a big deal. I understand exactly why they think that and they question it. I'm not. It's not a young man's game. It's really not. Like, fighting is tough. And even on the best night, like, half the guys here train their butt off, and half of them are gonna lose. So it's a very highs to highs, lows to lows. It's a tough sport.
Joe, you have been involved with New England MMA, I mean, almost from the beginning. We keep seeing these rises in MMA in other areas. Russia, New Zealand right now, Africa, obviously some of the hotbeds have always been Florida and California.
Yep.
Where would you rank New England MMA in the talent compared to the rest of the world?
I think we've been there all along. I think California was really big for jiu-jitsu. There are a ton of Brazilians down in like Florida, and obviously Brazilian jiu-jitsu is such a big part of it. And it was, Brazil was ahead of us, with the sport. So there's been these hot pockets, but I think New England's been there from the start. We've had a lot of really good guys going back to, Kenny Florian and Mike Brown, and there's so many good people that have really set the trail, and everyone's just following now. We have really good deep talent pool here.
The UFC hasn't had a champion from New England since Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
You're involved in this scene more than anybody. You know everybody. Who's your prediction to be the next guy to capture UFC gold from the area?
I think the two front runners are Calvin Cater or Rob Font. They both train with us. They're both very, very good. They both do everything right. They train their butt off. They do all the right things. They take it serious. They're both ranked in the top 10. They both have the best shot right now.
Kyle Bochniak talked about how Saturday sparring with you really helped crisp him up for this fight. What were those Saturday sparring sessions like with Kyle to get ready for this fight?
We try to kill each other. We always try to get very specific with sparring partners, right? So I try to get someone that has a similar style, lefty righty. We try to get build, and sometimes it's tough to get the perfect match. But it just worked out, well, that Kyle for me and me for Kyle. It was good. We try to kill each other. There were days I got the best of the rounds, there were days he got the best of the rounds. But we're both good training partners. I think sometimes in the past, Kyle was a little bit of a maniac and wasn't maybe the best training partner, not looking out for his sparring partners the best. But the last couple of years, he's been great. He's been so much better. I think he learned how to train. So it was great. Anytime I get rounds with Kyle, it was great.
You've been a part of some really cool stuff with the UFC. Obviously, fighting in Boston, fighting at the Garden's a really cool thing. But having that open workout yesterday at Peter Welch's gym, a place where as soon as you walk in, you can just smell the work that's been done in there in front of all your fans. A lot of your teammates are out there. What was that moment like for you?
It was great. I'm very familiar with Peter's. Been over there a bunch. Had a whole bunch of my guys there. They're all kind of mixed in. It was good. But we have such a good environment. Like every Saturday morning in my gym, we got all the best guys in New England. They all come to my gym on Saturday morning. So it's good. It felt a lot like that. There's a lot of people because Kyle and I will be sparring, so everyone's watching. The gym, it doesn't shut down, but a lot of people get there early to watch all the sparring and stuff before. So it was it felt just like being back in my home gym.
Joe, you've been out for about 18 months now. Are you worried about any rust or?
No, I mean I don't really. I think ring rust is true to a certain extent. But if you're having hard rounds in the gym, I don't think it really matters. I've had 26 fights in UFC. This would be 27. The nerves are not going to get to me. Being in Boston is not going to get to me. All of the the crowd going crazy is not going to get to me. I had a little bit of time off, but honestly, it's a fight sport. You get beat up. Time off I think is good in a lot of cases. Lets your head rest a little bit, lets your body rest. There's so many. It gets really tough. Since I was 18, I pretty much always had a fight coming up. So it's tough when you have fights coming up to rest injuries. You get little naggy things. It's not a big deal, but my wrist is sore, my elbow's sore, my shoulder's sore, and it's stuff you can train through. But you're not going to pull out of a fight over it. But it's annoying. It's just tough to kind of get any time to really just sit back and rest a little bit. And that's what this was. It really gave me some good time to rest and heal up. Completely, we changed around a few things in my training camp, having an additional striking coach, Jake Manini, work on a little bit more Muay Thai stuff. New strength and conditioning coach, Mike Perry, skill strength in Chelmsford, which, that was you can't up your cardio, you can't get in better shape in a short amount of time, So I needed the time to kind of just sit back and rework things a little bit.
Looking at your Michael Johnson fight the last time you were here, I remember leading up to that, you had your, I think it was the Jamie Varner fight and then your Jim Miller fight.
Yep.
A lot was made into you breaking that UFC bonus record or taking the first place. Or, did that play any factor? Those talks and maybe it got into you to put on another performance?
Not too much, but honestly, I like that I'm not the leader now. Cowboys, I think got 1 or 2 ahead of me. I'm not that is a huge relief. It's not I'm not trying to chase some record. Obviously getting a bonus is great. But I'm not and I wasn't really chasing it before. But just, of course, people want to hear, oh, it's going to be an exciting fight. Oh, yeah, it's going to be fight of the night. It's going to be this. You know what I mean? But I'm not getting caught up in that. I don't care.
You haven't totally committed to whether this is your last fight or not. If it is your last fight, and you think back on your career, what would you say would be the most proud or the high moment? And then on the flip side, what is one of probably your biggest disappointment?
Well, I think the biggest thing, if you go on Google image search me, what are you going to see for pictures? You're going to see pictures of me covered in blood, having good fights. Probably the scar. I've had some good fights, but you also see some good pictures of me, choking out Melvin Gillard and fighting Diego, and I stopped the fight against Gomi myself before the ref did. There's been a lot of really, really good moments. It's tough to go and pick one singular thing when I've had so many good fights. So I don't know. I think people remember. Everyone's going to have something different. I don't know.
When retirement talks start entering conversation, I think a lot of times people think about somebody getting beat up, having a fight where they lose and they retire. Is there any thought going into a fight at home, if you go out there and win, that this could be it?
I mean, for sure. I mean, since my first fight in the UFC, I thought it might be the last one. I've never I have a computer science degree. I definitely won't go back and use it now. I'll keep going with my gym and stuff like that. But I have other options. I'm not stuck. There are definitely worse ways to have your last fight than fighting at home in Boston and coming up with a good win. But regardless, it doesn't matter. That's not gonna be the singular thing. You know, I think a lot of people thought I was done after the last one, and maybe even me a little bit thinking I was maybe done. But it's just, I think it's like anything else. I'm not set on anything. You know, I'm gonna sit back and evaluate. I'm gonna wait till, you know, next week, and we'll think what's going on. We'll see how the fight went, and we'll make some decisions, or maybe we won't make a decision. We'll kind of sit and we'll see. You know, I'm not pressed to have to fight. I don't have to fight. So it's not like I have to fight 3 times a year and I'm chomping at the bit, you know. Maybe I fight now, maybe I don't fight for another year, maybe I don't fight for a year and a half, like maybe I'm done. Like who knows, you know, but I don't feel like I'm pressured to anything. I can do what I want. I can be a little picky on who I'm going to fight and when I'm going to fight and what I'm going to do.
You said the doubt started to creep into your own mind a little bit in between fights. What was it that turned it around? Got you back motivated, got that fire going?
The big thing was that, so going into the last fight, I just felt like I was going to win the fight. It wasn't that I slept on the kid. It wasn't that I you know, I didn't train hard. I trained super hard. I was ready to go. I was just super confident I was going to win the fight. And then we didn't win the fight, you know, and we were kind of saying, we were so confident, like, oh, if we can't win this fight, maybe we should be done. Or if we can't win this fight, we're definitely done. And then, so then you lose the fight and you're like, oh, well, it's like, it's already been said. I already said I was done, you know, and I didn't really mean it. I didn't really believe it, but we said it. So it was like kind of, well, I kind of said it, but I didn't really mean it. So, you know, we'll see. Like I said, well, it's just take it one fight at a time.
You've talked about all your options. Obviously, coaching is a huge option, something you're already very successful in. But you've also always been a great interview. You ever thought about doing the broadcasting, the ESPN and all that?
I mean, I would love to do that stuff. I think I do a pretty good job at it. I think I'm pretty analytical. I think I do all right with it. The tough thing is just geographically. Like my wife's got a good job here in Boston. Like, you know, I have my gym. Like, it'd be tough to go and get away. You know, Kenny Florian had to move to LA. You know, like there's ESPN's in Connecticut. You know, maybe there could be something. I would be open to, you know, options and seeing what's out there. But I don't know. We'll see.
Does anything in the sport surprise you anymore? Like you talk to fighters, and fighters always say, "Oh, he's never fought somebody like me before." But at this point, does anything that anybody could bring to you, could that even remotely surprise you?
No, I mean, I think I've seen most things. You know, my opponent, I've had a very diverse set of opponents, so I've seen a lot of things in the cage, but I'm always paying attention to other fights too. I'd say the biggest thing that surprised me is when like fighters make like super like stupid decisions, like in training camp. That's the thing that always surprised me. Like be someone doing something in training camp, and I'm like, why are they doing that? Like that makes no sense whatsoever. You know, and then guys go out and win. So I'm like, I don't know. Like I think you know. Sometimes I think things are supposed to be done a certain way, and I think that like, oh, this is like the accepted way, and then other people go like completely off to the other side. I'm like, how are they doing that? It's so crazy. And then sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But I'm more, you know, blown away by, you know, weird things like that.
Does that make you love and appreciate the sport even more, that there are things that could potentially surprise you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why everyone loves the sport, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. You know, you could take every single one of you guys who are all educated and know what's going on, and you take a fight and you pick how it's going to fight, and someone's going to have a prediction that everyone's going to think, oh, there's no way that's going to happen, and it can happen. It's just, it's so exciting. It's what's so great about the sport.
Joe, there's so many gyms in New England, but it seems like all the top guys in New England have some kind of connection to you, gravitate to you, go to those open Saturday workouts.
Yep.
What is your team doing so different that it's attracting guys from New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, everywhere?
My only goal is for guys to win. That's all I care about. I don't need them. Like they're all you know, saying Los Angeles nonstop, but I'm not asking them. I'm not making them do that. I'm not expecting that. I want them to win. You know, like so many other places, like they're like, oh, you're gonna come train with us, but you have to put our logo on your shorts. You have to do this. You're like, don't want that. I want everyone to come and make me better, make all my guys better. I want everyone to come together. I'm not trying to get anything from them. I'm not trying to take money from them. I just want them all to come and train and get better. And you know, I think it shows. You know, I think it shows because so many people are coming to train with us, and we just have great culture. I mean, everyone's there, good training partners. I don't allow anyone that's a jerk. Don't want them in there. I'll tell them, hey, don't think it's right for you. I don't think you should come on Saturdays anymore. Because you get people that are just bad training partners sometimes. You know, you get one guy that's a bad training partner, and he hurts this person, hurts this person, hurts this person. Next thing you know, Calvin doesn't want to come, Rod doesn't want to come, Kyle doesn't want to come. Like all these guys don't want to come because you had one person that was being a jerk training partner. So like I think I'm hard, but I'm fair about stuff sometimes. Like if there's someone that's being a bad training partner, they're not going to come back.
You ready to name drop those jerks?
No. They're all good. Honestly, it's been such a long time since we had to kick anyone out and tell them they couldn't come.
So when you see someone like Colby Covington who pisses off all of his training partners, would
Yep.
you be staying at your gym?
No chance. I mean, like it would, and I don't care how good you are. It wouldn't matter. You could be UFC champ. If you're being a jerk, it doesn't matter. You just ruin it for everyone else. Like that's not what I'm after. You know, we have all really, really good training partners, and everyone helps each other out. Like, you know, Rob Font, he doesn't fight coming up, helping me. He's doing sparring rounds with me. Like, you know, like sometimes I corner for Rob. Sometimes like I take kind of a coach's role with Rob. But this camp, he was my training partner. He sparred with me. He helped me work on things. You know, it's a really good environment. I guess that's the big thing.
Thanks, Joe.
Cool.
Thanks, Joe.
Good deal. Thank you, guys. That was my alarm for coming over here. Yes.
Randy, if you can get a chance to talk about Devin and what you've done with his memory and what he's brought to your career.
Yeah, Devin and I were great friends, not only in the gym but also outside the gym. We were friends outside the gym before we were friends in the gym. And before he passed, I had a very long layoff between my last amateur fight and my first pro fight. And my last amateur fight, he was always texting me, get a fight, get a fight, get a fight. And I'm like, no, like whatever. And I always told him I'm going to get one last one. He's like, you're a pussy, you're not going to get one more, you're not going to get one. I'm like, dude, shut up, I'm going to get one more. So when he passed, I felt like I kind of owed that, not only to myself, but also I definitely owed it to him as a man and as, the friendship between us. And I'd be doing not only myself a disservice, but also his family a disservice if I didn't, take him every step of the way with me. So he'll be there with me at the Garden tomorrow night, on Friday night for sure. It's gonna be good.
Joe just talked about the type of team that you have at Lozon's and the vibe that's there. Can you just delve into that a little bit too? What's it like to be with such a close team, a close knit?
Man, it's second to none over there. There aren't any egos. Everyone wants to help everyone out. It's not a bigger dick contest over there. Everyone wants to train. Everyone wants to help each other out. Like Joe was saying, he'll take on the coaching role. He'll take on the training partner role. He'll take on the friend role, the mentor role. Joe has been, open arms since I went into the gym. I not only consider him as a great friend, but also, a coach, a mentor, a great training partner, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Listening to Joe, obviously he's got a lot of wisdom. I'm sure he's bestowed a lot of it on you. Can
Yeah.
you even put into words what kind of mentor he's been to your career?
He's like, there are a lot of guys I feel like they put on this fake act. Joe has been very raw from the beginning, and he never talked shit about any of his opponents. He was never like, the asshole to the people he was fighting. He was always respectful, and then let the fighting show for itself. And I feel like I kind of do the same thing. I don't want to say anything bad about anyone. I don't really care. I have no malicious content or no malicious intent towards anyone. I just want to have some fun, dude. I just want to throw my bones around and have put on a show for everyone. I'm looking forward to Friday night.
Speaking of having fun, you train with Greg Rebello, one of the best trash talkers in the gym.
He's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah. Has that helped your game a little bit, just seeing some of the quick-witted comments he has? Do you find that helps you a little bit?
Yeah, he's also a great friend, training partner, coach, all that stuff. But I think the big thing that he brings for me is that him and I are very alike with the personalities. We're both Portuguese assholes. That's all there is to it. And I feel like he kind of grounds me when obviously fight week and fight night, there are a lot of nerves going around, and I think he just gets me level-headed, and it's time to go. But he's definitely a piece of shit, that's for sure.
He's really backed you, though. I know a lot of the coaches have, and
Yeah.
really sort of believed in you. How much did that help, ultimately with the results we saw in the cage, just having a team that really believed in your talent level?
Yeah, I think the coaches believed in me more than I believed in myself, and that was huge. Obviously, Joe Lozon said a lot of great things about me. Greg Abello, Steve Mays, they all said a lot of great things about me, and it was tough for me to believe. And once I kind of step back and all right, let's see if these guys are actually right about what they're saying, and let's start believing in myself. And I'm at this point right now. Granted, I lost my first fight, but I've never been in a better physical, mental, spiritual spot. I'm just ready to go, man.
What was the feedback like from that first fight? Because you looked really good early on, and I think it sucks to lose, but
Yeah.
I think you actually gained more fans from that performance.
Yeah, I think I took a lot more positives than negatives in that fight. And I was a unicorn going in. No one really knew. They knew I had a big right hand, a couple high kicks, a good, nice hair, and a fun walkout. No one knew that I actually had some talent. I didn't even know I had talent. I had never been punched in the face. I said this in a couple interviews before. In that fight, at one point there were 6 Brandon Davises. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is outrageous. But it was so cool to me. I learned that I am as tough as what I hoped to be. I do have the style that I thought would be very fan friendly, and I feel like I have a lot more to showcase, and Friday night's gonna be a showcase for sure.
Brady, going back to that trash talk, your last opponent, Brandon Davis, you guys were extremely respectful,
Yeah.
even to the point where he gave you your moment. Boston Salmon, you guys are saying that you're the friendly.
Yeah.
Do you want to face someone who's going to trash talk? And if so, will you trash talk back?
I mean, I'm not. To me, this is a sport. I don't need to like or dislike in the cage. There aren't any emotions. The relationship between my opponent and I are irrelevant in that time. Before the fight, I'm going to shake your hand. After the fight, I'm going to shake your hand. If you want to talk shit, then talk shit. I'm just going to separate myself. I've never been in a fist fight. I've never hit anyone ever in my life outside a sanctioned environment. I'm not going to start now just because now that someone wants to start pushing me. It's like to me that's stupid. I don't want it. I don't want that stuff. Like we're gonna punch each other in the face. We get to put on a show. We get to make some money. Let's have some fun, dude. That's it.
Watching your regional fights, you had one of the rowdier crowds that I think I've ever seen. It was pretty wild in there sometimes. Is it going to be magnified at the Garden? Is the TD Garden security ready for that?
Dude, so we were getting kicked out of the local shows because my friends, the idiot. I had a picture. I was blackout drunk in Vegas, and they blew it up and made it into a fathead and brought it to all the fights. It was just stupid. They brought it out to Atlanta. I had like 80 to 100 people in Atlanta with me. I was first fight night at 6 o'clock, and my friends were already doing shoeies. Like they're out of their minds, dude. So the Garden's it's gonna blow up, and everyone's gonna. I hope the UFC doesn't fire me just because my fans are a bunch of idiots. Like that's.
With that being said, as soon as this card was announced, you obviously wanted on it. You jumped on social media. You wanted to make it happen. Now that it's here and you're kind of spotlit a little bit, open workouts. You're here at the media day. What has this fight week been like for you?
I'm separating myself from the emotion and the reality. The emotion is separate from the reality right now. The reality of it is that I'm fighting in Boston on Friday night at the Garden. The emotion side of it's going to come on October 19th when all's said and done. Hopefully we get that win, and then that's when things are going to set in and be like, dude, holy shit, I just fought in the Garden. But right now it's just another day. A lot of guys don't ever have the opportunity to fight in their hometown. I was lucky enough that I'm getting this opportunity so early in my career, number one. And less than a year ago, I was fighting local. So there's no extra buzz in that regard. But it's going to be crazy. But to answer your question, I'm just separating myself from the reality of what's going on and the emotion, and then we'll celebrate after the fight.
Joe was asked this yesterday. Are you more concerned about your fight, or is there some concern about his fight as well? Because one, it could be his last fight. Two, you're sharing a car with your mentor,
yeah,
and your coach and your teammate. How do you separate those two? What do you sort of?
I'm more concerned about what pizza spot's gonna deliver to my room at midnight. I don't give a fuck who's fighting where. It doesn't matter. My fight's important. His fight's important. But I want the food afterwards. That's the most important.
Have you locked anything down? Do you have any ideas? Do you have any choices for that?
Well, my go-to is always a fuckload of Reese's, and a fuckload of Reese's consists of, there is no numerical value. It's eat until you start throwing up. But I'm gonna go to the Insomnia cookies across the street for sure. Make some cookie ice creams, and I'm just gonna put myself in some sort of food coma. Maybe take a bath in some peanut butter. Who knows? We're gonna see what happens.
Randy, you always sort of knew you were going to be on this card. I think it was just a no-brainer with your following on the regional scene. Was it difficult getting an opponent just because this is just your second fight? I don't imagine too many guys are lining up to fight a guy who's in his hometown in his second UFC fight.
I don't really think. I'm coming off a loss. If anything, I have a target on my back. I was the guy that got submitted in the second round. I didn't really have anything I didn't look like a killer out there. People weren't exactly lining up to fight me, but they weren't turning me down. I figured that since they're coming to Boston and I do have a decent following that I have, and I have Joe Lozon pushing me and getting in Sean Shelby's ear, I figured that I would probably get on this card, but there's never any guarantees. And I'm happy with the opponent that I have. I like Boston as a person for sure, but I definitely like the style clash that we have. It's gonna be a fucking fireworks show. It's gonna be sick.
Randy, you spoke yesterday. You said you give 3 reasons why this is the perfect fight for you, dream come true. You said being in Boston in front of your friends and family. You said fighting on the same card as your coach, mentor. And you said just keeping the memory of your friend, Devin. If Devin was here today, what do you think he'd say to you?
He said, he would probably say something along the lines, I told you, you fucking pussy, you should have been fighting earlier. Or something along the lines of that. It would never be a congratulations or a good luck. It'd be like, you should have sacked up earlier. Should have been a long time coming. But I'm happy that it's gonna be something. Win or lose on Friday night, I'm gonna be happy. And I'm gonna be able to, hold his picture with pride in the center of the Garden and look at his family. And, we made it. We made it.
Yeah, we spoke to Joe earlier about New England's been a long time since they've had a champion in the UFC. Other sports, they win championships all the time.
The longest layoff between parades is 6 months, was outrageous.
The last time a UFC champion was from New England, it was Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
Do you think you're the next guy to do that?
Who knows? I have a lot to prove. I think Calvin Cater's the next guy. I think Rob Font's the next guy. I think Joe Lozon could be the next guy. Who knows? I could be the next guy. Who knows? There are a lot of great fighters coming from Boston, and a lot of fighters that aren't signed to the UFC yet. Who's to say? I have no idea who the next one is. I'm just here to put on a show. I'm just going to keep doing my job.
You already predicted that you and Boston will win the fight of the night.
We're going to win fight of the night.
Obviously, you're going to be going for submissions. You'll be going for knockouts.
Yeah.
Are you expecting it to go the distance?
I'm expecting that we're both going to win $50,000 that night. I'm not expecting it. I'm not making any prediction either way. It's a fist fight. We're both gonna go out there. We're gonna try to punch each other's faces, and I'm gonna try to kick his head off. He's gonna try to kick my head off, and just enjoy the show.
You get that 50 grand, what are you buying?
I don't know, man. That's fuck. I might buy out the Hershey factory. Who knows?
You get pizza, you get lobster.
I don't want lobster, dude. I can have lobster when I'm dieting. I can't have pizza when I'm dieting.
You and Boston are friends. You talked about this a couple different times. And I know you being from Boston, I grew up in the Boston area. When you're hanging out with your friends and something big's coming up, as the days get closer, you guys get more jacked up about it. Have you ran into him in the hotel? Have you both just kind of talked to each other about it and just gotten so fired up that you guys?
I haven't seen him yet, but I definitely don't expect there to be like any like weird tension between the two of us.
In a good way, though.
Yeah, no, I expect that when we see each other, it's like I hug him like, dude, let's have some fucking fun. I don't think there's gonna be like any like grilling each other or anything stupid like that. I think it's let's put on a show, dude. You know how it is here. You know how the fans are in Boston. Let's live up to the hype. Let's steal the show on Friday night for sure.
Anything special planned for the TD Garden walkout?
Round here, gonna do this to my hair a couple times, and I'm gonna sing that song around. It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be good.
You're from the Taunton area,
Yeah.
you got the New Bedford area, Fall River, that's such a huge Portuguese area. I mean, Portuguese are not really known for their fighting.
Yeah.
They're better at other sports. But that's such a small, in-sync community.
Yeah.
How much love do you get from those guys, and how many of those people are going to be there?
So they call my so I'm from Taunton. They call it Tauntigal because everyone's Portuguese there. Everyone's like DMing me like Portuguese emojis, and I want this Costa kid just because he's Portuguese, and like these Brazilian guys are hitting me up. It's pretty cool, and like, it's I don't speak fluent Portuguese, so I can't really claim like I can't wear the Portuguese flag or anything like that. But I'm gonna run with the I'm the Portuguese scumbag from Taunton. I'm gonna keep running with that for sure.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Give us a second to adjust
America.
the last guy.
Can I just drop one of these? America and then walk out? Hey guys in the back, what's up? Y'all good? Bird.
Well, Greg, I know you were looking a little higher up the rankings, man. You wanted, to get a ranked opponent in this one. That didn't come to fruition. What was your reaction in the matchup?
Be humble. Be humble, sometimes you don't get what you want, and to throw a tantrum would be out of character. So I just decided to listen to my coaches who got me here and just heed the words of my agents and take the ring time. It's time for me to get in the ring, show some skills, make some right decisions, move towards dominating in the top 15, not just competing or fighting in the top 15.
Were you able to have that reaction right away, or were there moments where you're like, what are they doing with me?
I was super pissed. I mean, it was a 5-minute situation, but yeah, no, off the rap, I was just like, all right, here we go again. So he's gonna be a can as soon as I'm done. And then they're gonna be mad at me again. I gotta go through this process, but then I was just like, but why? Let's just think about it. Like before I go pick up the phone and get crazy, let's just think about why. Like, this is what got you here. Be consistent. This is a process. Always readjusting, reassessing, not slipping back in the old ways. So
it's funny what you said there. So, like, going in, he's an undefeated contender. Going out, he's a can. Is that the way?
He's a can. He was trash. He's terrible. Even though his record's way bigger. He's fought 100 times. He's still worse than you. Blah, blah, blah. You know how that goes. There's no win for me until I fight for the belt, which is coming.
What's it like being in Boston? You've been here plenty of times in the NFL. How does the emotions feel this week?
It's so much cooler than being in the NFL, bro. I'm here all week. I get to be all in the ambiance. I've ran around Cambridge, got my mileage in around the lake. I actually got to be a part of the city. And it kind of just adds to the effect. Like the build up for the fight for the fighter. You don't just fly in on the weekend, sack Tom Brady a couple times and dip out. Right.
You're saying that you accepted this lower ranked guy, but you still want that bigger name. After this, should you win, are you going to have to say like, listen, I'm sorry, it's time for me to fight up those rankings?
Not at all, man. Because in finding that peace in my violence and finding that perspective, I realized what I've been saying all along. I'm about to fight everybody, guys. We ain't got nothing but time. Anybody that wants it can get it 4 times this year. And shout out to the greatest boss on the planet, Dana White, is the man. Please let me fight again in December. I want to do it 5 times. Y'all love me. I love y'all. Like
in Vegas?
You called it. You said it. I didn't say it. Say in Vegas, whatever. I'm down. I'll show up.
10% of that, right?
Quick, hey, knockout bonus, right? I got you. That's the deal.
You hoping to be on the pay-per-view card, or do you like fighting on the ESPN cards? Like, because this is your third, I think, ESPN, not ESPN Plus, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I'm not really keeping track. But yeah, man, when you're on one of the best when you're on the best network on TV, bro, how can you really complain, dude? It was FX and there was a bunch of other places, and now I'm on where I was just playing before. I didn't skip a beat.
So
I'm down.
Fighting on a pay-per-view card, like, is that anything you look forward to?
I still actually don't really understand what that means.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm still kind of relatively new, so.
You're basically behind a paywall. Like, someone has to pay $40 to watch the last 5 fights.
You don't have to pay now?
Well, you just pay for watch it on ESPN, as opposed to you go to ESPN Plus, you pay $50.
Do I get paid during pay-per-view?
I don't think if you're not a champion.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I don't care then. I'm here to get paid and knock people out, dude.
You talk about wanting those matchups, the higher ranked matchups. We've had plenty of people call you out. Have you ever thought about dropping a call out yourself?
Who called me out? You talking about Derek Lewis and all these other guys?
Yeah. I believe Todd Duffy was one of them too. Yeah.
Who?
Todd Duffy. He has a 7-second knockout in one of his.
Oh, homeboy that don't got the record no more because ATT took that from him. Shout out Mosby Doll. You know what? At the end of the day, dude, it's about being prepared. Like, you guys don't want to, most of you guys want to see me get knocked out, and I still love you. But the fans, they don't want to see somebody in there just clowning around getting knocked out. Like, that would be disrespectful to the sport. And I don't know if you guys remember my whole point and objective in this takeover, so we'll call it, is to earn it, to show you that I was meant to be here, to show you that I didn't take it. This is not a CM Punk. I earned it. I paid every single due. I went through the circuit as an amateur. I fought my way up on the Contender Series like everybody else has to. I've defended my position as a UFC fighter like everybody else does with regular opponents. Because who the hell walks in and fights Derek Lewis? You know what I mean? And now that I'm, getting my medal, I'm clashing with the middle class of the UFC, I'm starting to develop. And when it comes to a point where I can, handle myself in the ring, be professional, put on a show, that's when we're going to go to the top. And it's not going to stop. You know, it's going to be the same scale as this. It's going to be every 2 months. I'm going to knock out Derek, knock out Ngannou, knock out Stipe. It's just going to be, I might submit somebody. You don't know. I got a new BJJ coach. Shout out Devin McMoultrie. But you get my point. Like, it's not going to stop, you know. And we all know I live in the gym. So the work is just going to continue, you know.
Speaking of the gym, American Top Team, big topic right now is this whole Colby Covington rift with the team. Does that impact you at all? Just, you know, because I know you're friends with everyone at the gym. Like, how has that impacted you?
Perfectly fine with it, brother.
Do you talk to Colby at all? Like, I know it's a
Colby's my guy, dude, and
Yeah.
Masvidal's my guy, and I don't really talk to the Diamond that much, but I support him, and he's my teammate, you know.
Yeah.
And
how's that been though? Because you're friends with both guys, and that probably puts you in a difficult situation at times. Just because, you know, there's obviously some bad blood there.
I think a difficult situation would be being on the bottom when a big heavyweight's on top of you. This is just going to work. You know, it's somebody being mad that the coffee mug is, I mean, the coffee pot's not filled. Like, you left the coffee overnight. This is a small thing, dude. These guys are professionals. They come to work every single day. We're racking 6 figures. Like John Jones just said on one of his posts, we making money out here because we are the best. We work harder than anybody else. And you, 3 guys, the Diamond, Masvidal, Colby Covington, what's their MO, man? They're always in the gym. They're always fighting. They're always putting in more work than everybody else. To question these guys and their motives and how they act in the gym is the same thing as questioning me and my athletic prowess. It's a joke.
Sorry, Greg.
No, please.
You're a huge name. Everyone has an opinion about you. There's one camp that says, unbelievable elite athlete, could be a champion one day, and they want to see you succeed. There's another camp that never wanted to give you a shot from the very beginning and says, hey, he's had some run-ins with the law, he doesn't deserve it, it's a privilege to fight in the UFC. Can you convert those people over to give you a second chance? And if so, how do you do that?
I say this. If we're going to implement a rule that anybody that's had trouble with the law can't fight, I'm down. I'll quit. If we're going to implement a rule that anybody that's been in trouble can't fight, I'll quit. It's not going to happen, man. It's not the reality of things. We're human. 100% of us are flawed. So I approach this like any situation in life. I got to keep moving forward and appeasing the people that are supporting me, man. There's too many people in this world that want to see me win. And I might get knocked out, man. So you got to buy a ticket to find out either way. So tune in. Please keep rooting against me. I love you for rooting against me because it lines my boss's pockets.
When you say finding peace in the violence, that's something that's kind of like your mantra since you got into the sport.
I found peace in the violence.
Is that something you had while you were playing football as well, or is this something you learned along the way, and how did that kind of come into your life?
Yeah, that's a complex answer, man. Initially in football, I had it, but it was a different way. It wasn't peace and violence. I was home in destruction. You know, I was a darker soul, man. I was the Kraken. I was the devil's pet. You know, it consumed me in a different way. And coming to MMA and having to temper myself, you know, being around the most dangerous people in the world while actually seeing these guys be humble and approach life in a way that I've never even thought about was eye-opening. So I had to adjust my perspective to survive. I had to adjust my perspective to continue to gain. And in that, I found peace in the violence. I found something that I had never had in football, the ability to weather any storm and continue, you know, on my own path, in my own way, because I'm righteous, because I support my team, because it's my family. It's about what I'm in my journey and accepting people and their opinions about my journey.
How refreshing is that for you? Because a lot of people search for that and can't find it. You've obviously found it. You know, how refreshing is that for you?
Feels good, man. And I feel like, you know, it's the only way to survive. Because hatred, man, all this hatred in the world, all this trash talk and all this evil, man, it kills you inside. You know, our star player is something we have to nurture with love and acceptance, you know, whether it's good or bad, because life's this, man. It's not this. So there's going to be ups and downs. But if you can't balance it, you can't progress. And if I can't progress, I'm the one getting knocked out.
Where do you get your positivity from? You reference a lot, you know, finding a way to take a lot of these situations and putting a positive spin on that. Is there someone in particular that's influenced you to be that way, or do you read a lot of books? Like, where does this come from?
Despite this guy, I mean, other than this guy, you guys,
Yeah.
you beat me down so much. You've hurt me in so many ways. You've tried to paint me in so many ways that I am not. And when you're at the bottom, dude, and everything's in pieces, you have to realize there's nobody to blame. There's no faults to be had. I made every single decision, good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you think something happened or I think something happened, whatever really happened, I made those decisions. No matter what it was, it's my choice. And when you start to accept stuff like that, man, it becomes easy. The blame's not on you guys. Y'all are doing your job, man. Just like I'm doing my job.
Was it always as easy for you?
No. I was super angry. I don't know if you guys ever watch YouTube. Open would have came in here, no comment, next question. No comment, next question. No comment, next question. But it's just that's like me, the other Juan Adams blaming me for him having a concussion. Like, he signed a contract. Like, it's at the end of the day, like I was telling him, like, we knock each other out and then come shake hands, dude. That's the ultimate level of freaking humanity, dude. That's crazy. People are 1 second, please. People are fighting out here for scuffing your shoes, man. People are getting killed out here for being in their house, doing what they're supposed to be doing by their rights, dude. Like, this is a crazy place. Anytime and any place where you can shake a man's hand after going to war, it's a beautiful thing, bro. And you start to see, like he was saying, like I was telling him, that you start to see that peace in the violence. You start to see a new place where you can grow. And once you develop, it's just a drug, dude. It's like getting better every day. It's like you guys getting better at your job. You want to go seek seminars. You want to go seek how to figure it out. So that's the process. Please, I apologize. No, it's my fault.
Do you remember the moment for you when that sort of changed? Do you remember when you decided, like, man, I just got to pick up these pieces. I got to find that piece?
I think it was a 6-month period, bro, where I didn't know where I was going to go, and to be honest, it was darkness and it was light, and they were both real alluring. There was checks behind both sides, and it was just, I had to decide where I wanted to go and where I was going to grow more. And having a daughter, Mia Hope, shout out Mia Hope Hardy, having a son, Dallas Hardy, changes your perspective on everything, because those are the people that look up to you now. Like, I was always the guy looking up to somebody, trying to figure out my way. Now I have people looking up to me.
So do you feel like every decision you make, you think about them first, so it's a lot easier to find that piece?
If I raise my right hand, he raises his right hand. If I do this, he does this. Like, he's going to do everything that I do. She's going to do everything that I do, man. And when you got that kind of pressure on you, you have a choice. You can either continue to fall into your own selfish or evil ways, or adapt and adjust and make note. Hold yourself accountable.
Greg, you've been a model citizen since you joined MMA. Do you think you get unfair treatment by fans and media members, that when other guys got in trouble, it doesn't get brought up every time?
God bless him, man. No, not at all. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and I am more than a king. I'm king of kings. I've done more than people have done in 3 lifetimes. So to approach it like that would be selfish, It's like asking it's like asking to be president and saying, oh, well, you can't talk about me. It's illegal. You got to be a Republican or it's illegal. Like, it's the land of opportunity, dude. I'm American with an M, not an A. Like, it's your freedom of speech, your freedom of right. I support it. I love it. Do it, I'm going to take it humbly.
Another angle with this fight is, obviously you come from an NFL background. Your opponent comes from a rugby background. Europe, Australia, New Zealand, they say that rugby players are tougher, better athletes. We in America think that's crazy. We think Americans have the best athletes, especially NFL players, all-pro defensive end. Is this going to settle the debate? Who's tougher, football or rugby?
There's no debate. I'm the toughest man on the planet. But, I give a huge shout out to the rugby guys, because Alex Corbex is one of my good friends from Florida, and he introduced me to that rugby lifestyle, and them boys are soldiers. And I believe you can have a mutual respect for something and still, have a sense of superiority. But
like little brother.
Yeah, not even little brother, like brother, big brother, big brother. Like, I'm the most dangerous. No, I'm the most dangerous. And I just have mad respect, and especially for the way that they carry themselves. Because, this guy's not talking trash so far. And most rugby guys that I know, they're not. They're humble, they're respectful, and then they bring war. And that's just something that that is the Prince of War. That is the embodiment of the love that I'm bringing. I'm going to break your face and shake your hand. We're going to move on to better things. And I think that's the ultimate athlete, man. So get ready, dude. There's going to be some beautiful stuff coming.
All right. Cool. That's great.
Thanks, Greg. Good luck to you.
What were these past couple of years like for you?
Man, it was tough. I had a neck injury, so I was out for a little bit. For 2 years, I wasn't medically cleared by the UFC. I felt okay. I was still training, so I'd be able to go some cool trips. Got to go to Thailand. Lived in Thailand for a little bit, training Muay Thai, so better in my kickboxing, my stand-up. Went to Holland, trained a little bit in Amsterdam, in Majiro gym, Kyoko gym. So Dutch have some good kickboxing. Still over at American Top Team, training hard. But even though I haven't been medically cleared and I haven't been fighting, I've still been training hard. So I just can't wait to get back in there.
And how frustrating was that, obviously, to be, in your mind, healthy training and then not be cleared? Was that...
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing. The only thing worse is not being able to train. But, yeah, it's definitely tough because you do all this work and you don't see any progress. But that's why I'm so excited to come back and shine in Boston Friday night, because I get to see all that last 2 years of hard work and dedication and, going to put it on TV for you guys.
How does this fight week compare to the last time in Boston? Because you had an opponent switch up. You had to fight Kyle Bochniak, and now you've had plenty of notice for this fight. Have you been able to enjoy it a little bit more?
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is my third time at the Garden. I'm undefeated at the Garden. I'm undefeated in Boston. 7-0 in Boston, 5-0 at CES, 2-0 in UFC at the TD Garden. So, man, I'm definitely looking to keep my unbeaten streak home in Boston.
And you mentioned CES. That's where you carved out your name and got to the UFC. And Bermudez is a Cage Titans guy. Do you sort of feel like you're carrying that CES flag heading into the
Yeah, for sure. I think Manny fought in CES a couple times, but I think definitely, I'm always representing. Those guys helped build me up CES a lot. I love Jeremy Birchfield and those guys. Those are a huge part of my success in getting to this point in the UFC and building me as a fighter. So I always appreciate them.
We got a New England versus New England matchup here. I know you train in American Top Team. Have you ever had any sparring with Manny or anything like that?
No, he's one of the guys I haven't. I've trained with almost all the guys. Trained with Devin Powell, Joe Lozon, Rob Font. Never trained with Kelvin Cater, but I train with a lot of the Boston guys. Go over Sid Yatong sometimes with Mark Delgrati. But yeah, man, this is I really think this is a really cool, interesting fight. I feel like they keep putting me against Boston guys. They keep or New England guys and taking them out. My other win was against Sean Soriano, who is originally from Providence. He trains over at the Black Stallions with Henry Hoof. But definitely, I think, that's what it is. I think I'm ready.
The big thing about him is his ground game. It's no secrets there, probably what he's going to want to do with you. Do you feel comfortable if the fight hits the map that you can go?
Yeah, that's the thing everyone keeps saying. I just feel like he's a one-trick pony. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I train at American Top Team with the best fighters on the planet. There's no doubt in the skills. I got guys over from Brazil, training my jiu-jitsu every session. Then the next I go with guys, from the Olympic USA team wrestling, D1 wrestlers from the colleges, to go into, boxing with Olympic boxers. And, man, there's no denying that, American Top Team has all the tools and all the people that I need, and I get the best looks. And I know that if I can hang with those guys and that are specialists in each thing, that there's no doubt that I'll be ready for Manny.
Have you talked to your friend, Boston Bruins forward Brad Marchand this week? Because obviously he's for the Bruins, and you guys I know keep in touch.
Yeah, I just missed the game the other day. I just sent him a text to invite him to the game, so hopefully we can get him tickets and see him there. I don't know if he has a game or not, but definitely would like to see Brad there at the game.
Are you going to? They're playing the night before you guys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, against the Lightning. Are you going to go?
No way. I don't know. I'm gonna send him a message. I might. I always love going to a game or something like.
You'll only go if he hooks you up with tickets. So,
yeah, no. He always takes care of me, dude. He's a good dude, and I met him when I first walked out in the Boston fight at the TD Garden. I got my first win in the UFC. I walked out with the Boston Bruins jersey with my name in the back. Unfortunately, with the Reebok deal, they don't have that anymore, so I can't walk out with a Bruins jersey, which I would love to, but. I'd always loved repping hockey. I was a hockey player growing up as a kid, so I feel like that's what made me tough. And, when the Boston Bruins team was there, I got to go meet them, go in the locker room, chat with them all, and, definitely that was my dream before I was a fighter, to be in the NHL. But this is just as well, because my favorite part about hockey was the fighting. So.
How different is it being in the Garden as an athlete instead of a fan? Because there's that infamous story with the flag and the Montreal thing.
Yeah.
How different is it being the actual athlete as opposed to being the fan?
Man, it's amazing. I used to go to the Garden as a little kid, or when the Celtics played and the Bruins as a little kid, just watching from the nosebleeds. So to be, and I always would look down at the ice and just wish, like, man, I wish I could be playing in there with these guys. And to have that dream come true and be able to make that walk a few times and be able to walk out of that tunnel with a Rosa jersey is a dream come true. And, man, now I'm just comfortable now. I'm ready. I'm focused. And, I'm ready to take it to the next level and, maybe bring a world championship to Boston, the first UFC, world champion from Boston. That's that's my goal.
Do you remember, were there some like infamous moments that you were part of at the Garden being a fan that stick out to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember when the Bruins were playing the Canadians. I told that story before. I remember Mark Savard scored the game-winning goal in overtime. I was like one of the best playoff games to clinch the series, and there was these Canadian fans holding the flag in front of me the whole time, blocking my view at some points. Drunk as hell. So I just remember grabbing the flag and just running with it. And it was just instinct, man. I don't know. I was so pumped, getting chased. I remember running down the flights of stairs at the Garden, just jumping like sets of 10, 15 sets of stairs, just running from these guys, and got away with the flag. And I just remember having that as like my trophy for that.
Charles, you've been out for, as no one said, 2.5 years. You ever doubt that this moment would come again?
No, I mean, at first, I had that moment when the doctor said, you should consider, hanging it up, and that definitely was like, almost like brought tears to my eyes when he said that. And there was like a silence in the room, and I stopped and I said, what's the other option? And he didn't really say, and I told him what the other option is. I said, I'm going to defy all odds. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to beat this, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to do everything I can possibly do to come back. And so that's what I did. And luckily, I worked really. He told me that it was possible. It was improbable, but not impossible. So that's all I needed to hear, that there was even any chance, a 1% chance that I could do it. And, man, that's what I did. I put all my chips in, dedicated the last 2 years to getting healthy. I went to the best places. Luckily, the UFC has the UFC Performance Institute with some of the top specialists in the world, and I was able to go get all the physical therapy and all the treatment I needed to build my body back. And I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, because I feel like that's one of the main things that I never focused on, is the strength and conditioning aspect of it and the physical therapy. Like, I would just train, since I started training jiu-jitsu and MMA and wrestling, I just trained 6 hours a day, every single day, even trained on Sundays, even though people told me to take days off. I didn't believe in that. I just thought the harder you work, the better you got, which is kind of true, but you also have to take care of your body. So, something my dad told me, he said, if you don't take a break, God will give you one. So I think that's kind of what happened, and it broke my body a little bit and overworked it. But now, I learned from my mistakes, and I built my body up to be the strongest it's ever been. So I just can't wait to shine Friday night and show the world.
Speaking of hanging up, you came up on the New England scene. Everybody who's come up on the New England scene has some kind of connection to Joe Lozon. There's rumors that this might be it. This might be his last performance. What does Joe mean to you?
Joe to me is a legend, man. He's one of the guys I looked up to ever since I was a little kid watching him, and there's no doubt. And I love his style. He's one of the toughest, most ferocious fighters. Fights to the end, doesn't quit. Sometimes finds that finish and win at the end, and that's motivational to me. That's one of the guys I always looked up to. So to even be on the same card as him, and to be friends with him now, we just traded T-shirts in the lobby. It's pretty amazing, man, and I love that kid.
Obviously, New England's very interested in this fight. Split. Some people saying, "Oh man, he's my guy." Some guys, "Oh, my guy." Who's gonna have more support in the arena? Who do you think's gonna have more people cheering for him?
I think myself, obviously, man. I mean, I think I'm the better fighter. I got over 50 cousins, you know what I'm saying? So all their friends and people, there's no doubt about it. I just think there's a huge following, for both of us, for sure, and we're both going to bring it. And I think either way, no matter what happens, the fans always chant my name, you know what I'm saying, in the fight, because it usually ends up being a great fight. So I remember when I fought in Mexico City, I was against 25,000 Mexicans and maybe just my dad and mom in the crowd. And by the end of the fight, the fans would chant my name. So no matter where I am, that's how I fight. I think we win over the fans no matter what. But the fact that I'm in Boston, they're already on my side. It's a good start.
Obviously, you train up here sometimes, mostly in Florida. But you train up here. I know there's no animosity between you and Manny. Any chance after the fight you say, "Hey man, we haven't ever trained together. Let's train a little together." Yeah,
there's always a chance, but right now it's business, man. I'm going there to take his head off. Right now it's war for me. So the black flag's raised, and I'm coming for his head. So
with everything that's happened in 30 months, you potentially being told that you may not be able to do this again. How much more do you appreciate these moments heading into this fight?
Oh man, that's the best feeling. The best feeling is knowing that I didn't quit and I didn't give up, and I worked really, and the amount of hard work that I put in to get to this point just makes it all that much sweeter when I get my hand raised Friday night.
All right, thanks, Charles.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Josh.
guys. Appreciate you.
All right, man, it's a home game for you. I know some of the other fighters on this card from New England have had this opportunity before. This is the first one for you. Can you even put into words what it means for a kid from Abington to step into the guard?
Yeah, no, excuse me. It's very special for me to be able to be coming out here and fighting in my hometown of Boston. I was born and raised in East Boston, right down the street from here. And when I would drive by here, I never thought I'd be able to fight in a place like this. But the UFC's giving me this opportunity today, and hope to take full advantage of it.
We just talked to your opponent, Charles Rosa, and he said you were one of the few New England guys that he hasn't had the opportunity to train with.
Yeah.
But he said that he's trained with some of your training partners. Have you heard from them? Have they given you any little tips and tricks here and there about what to expect?
Honestly, not really. Everybody's kind of because everybody respects Charles, and I feel like I get kind of a good amount of respect here locally too. And I think people have been very good about being, not stepping on toes or anything like that. And I haven't really talked to Charles too much, but he seems like a nice guy, and I feel like every opponent I get matched up with, I want to have a little bit more of a I want to make it like a fight, but sometimes you see them and you're like, all right, we're friends or whatever.
And, I mean, that just kind of speaks to the close-knit group that New England is.
Yeah,
somebody you haven't met.
yeah. I think at the UFC too, in general, I think a lot of times you see a lot of the guys and you're like, oh, these guys have beef, these guys have that, but sometimes it's played up for the camera too.
And he also kind of mentioned that he thought that he said he was getting asked a lot about your ground game, and he said that he felt like you may be a little bit of a one-trick pony in that department. Do you feel like if it comes to stand and trade with him that you can hang in?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I'm a one-trick pony, and I think that if he thinks that, there's one way to find out, and I think we're gonna figure it out Friday.
What has this fight week been like for you? It's your first time fighting in the UFC in Boston. What has the whole week been like for you?
So when I usually go out and train other places, what I do is I land wherever I'm fighting, and then I just go walk around and I explore a little bit. I was born and raised all around here, so I don't really have much to explore. So I'm kind of walking around in circles sometimes, and then I'm like, all right, I've been here, I've done that. It feels a lot like when I used to fight locally, because it's all my people, all my family, all my friends are always talking to me, hitting me up, and they're all excited, so that's cool. That's the only real difference, I think, between fighting locally and fighting this time, besides obviously the big stage and all that.
Considering your familiarity with the area, what have you been able to do to sort of pass the time here?
Not much. Not much. I wish there was more I could be doing, but I've just been hanging in the hotel room and talking to the other fighters. So.
This has been the first time in your career that you've gone into a fight trying to get back into the win column. With the last loss, is it tough to enter that mindset where you picked up your first loss? Was it easy for you to get over?
Yeah, it was easy. In this sport, it's not about it's not about staying undefeated forever. It's not about just being perfect. I think a lot of fighters get into this because they got the butts kicked sometimes, or because they grew up with like challenges, and I think that's a part of the sport. It's overcoming challenges and being able to step up and being able to recover, adapt, and improve. So.
How much better do you feel this fight week compared to the last one? Now you're up at 45. You still have to cut a pretty good amount of weight to get to 45, but how much better do you feel this time around?
I feel so. But for 135, a lot of times I would have to like drain myself for 2 months first, and then the last week I'd still have 15 pounds to cut. And this is the first time I feel I get a little energy. I feel I can talk to people. I'm more like tolerable. I think my friends appreciate it a little bit more too. So I feel good so far as of right now.
So you feel home at 45?
No, I like it. I like 45.
What you learn from your first loss?
It was my first loss professionally, but like being in the gym, training with other people. I know there's bad people in me out there. I know there's people that are tougher. I know there's people that are, this. But so I kind of grew up already knowing what it's like not always coming out on top. So for me, it's just another day. Like as long as you can pull yourself back together and get back in that win column, continue to perform. I don't think it's honestly, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I know Jeremy Stevens is on this card, and he's a guy I reference to a lot because he's had plenty of ups, plenty of downs, and he's a guy that I think would be tough for anybody to be fighting. He's a veteran of the sport, and I think to become somebody like that, you have to go through the wins, you have to go through the losses, you have to get hurt, you have to fight through injuries, all that stuff. So I think it's part of growing.
It's been 2.5 years since he's last fought. How hard is it for you to game plan for a guy that you don't know what kind of improvements he's making, what kind of changes he's making?
Yeah.
That said, what do you expect from him?
Yeah, no, I mean, I expect the best Charles Rosa that I can possibly, get. He's training with ATT. He's from, he's from the area. He's training with good schools around here, and then, he got a great record just training locally. I think him going down to Florida and training those guys, it should be a step up. If it's not a step up, then that's fine. Like I'll be more prepared for that.
I was talking to the fans yesterday at the open workouts. Obviously, they're all from New England.
Yeah.
And this fight got brought up, and I said, "Oh, I wonder who's the crowd's gonna be cheering for."
Yeah.
And the guy says to me, and I was surprised by this. He says, "And Rosa doesn't even train here in New England. He trains down in Florida." He's like, "I'm cheering for Manny." Man, he really truly represents New England.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? You think you represent New England harder than he does?
Yeah. First of all, I really appreciate that. And it makes me happy to hear that people view me as kind of the New England guy. It's tough to say with him because he is out there trying to find a better, I don't know what his situation was before he went down there, but he took two years off and he's out there looking for the best training he can get. So I can't knock him for it, but at the same time, his nickname's Boston Strong, isn't it? What's he doing in Florida? So, well, I mean, that's stupid though. It's a trivial thing. I think I represent New England more though.
Coming off your first loss and fighting in the Garden now, do you feel any pressure to have another great first round submission, or is that not even on your mind?
I just want to bring the best fight I can possibly bring. It would be great to have a finish. It would be great to finish him quick, but at the same time, I'm ready for a fight too. Also, BSU Bears.
How about a prediction? How do you win?
I know I just said that, but I think first round submission. Yeah, so quick fight, hopefully.
All right, thanks.
All good. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
first fight week for the UFC? Is it living up to the hype so far? Is it what you expected to this point?
Yeah. I'm lucky because I've got a crew that have had a lot of fights in the UFC, so everyone kind of let me know what to expect and what's going to happen. So, yeah, everything's just going as I've been told and just been enjoying it.
And what have these last couple of months been for you? Obviously, we saw the Contender Series, the way that played out with the eye poke. Then you're told you're going to go on Dana White's looking for a fight. And now here you are in the UFC in Boston fighting Greg Hardy.
Yeah, it was crazy. After the Contender fight, when I got told from Dana that I'll be on looking for a fight, and I think that was only a few weeks after the Contender fight. So I went home to get ready, but found out one of my best mates, he fought in Thailand, and he actually had to have 2 brain surgeries because he had a brain bleed and he's in a coma there. So I went straight to Thailand there, and I stayed with him as long as I could, and then came back home just to do maybe 2 weeks training before they're looking for a fight in Hawaii. But found out I got the Boston contract, the Boston fight. So yeah, just trained as well as I could in the time that I had, and yeah, I'm happy as to be here.
Has that been hard to focus? Obviously, with a traumatic incident like that, was it tough at all to stay focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, it is. It's weird how it worked out though, because me and my mate used to always talk about, he always wanted me to fight Greg Hardy ever since we saw him fighting the Contender, and I get the fight that he wanted me to have, and with it how he's going over in Thailand, he should be able to fly home around the same time that I get back from Boston. So when I get back home to Australia, I'll go back over to Thailand until he comes home, and then get him set up and give him the good news hopefully when he wakes up.
Do you feel like the stars are aligning for this whole thing? I mean, that's just like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it does. It's why it's been weird, because it's hard, but it feels like everything's kind of fated to work out the way that it is. So yeah, I'm happy. That's all the motivation that I need.
What have you made with Greg's transition from professional football to MMA? Have you been impressed with what he's been able to do?
Yeah, I have been actually. Like, coming from one top area in your sport and then transitioning over successfully so far, like it's hard to make it in one big sport. I've struggled my whole life just to be in the UFC, and he's already played in the NFL and fought in the UFC, so you got to give him props. He's very athletic.
A lot of guys, when they fight Greg, it's a very personal thing because of his past. You know, how do you react to fighting a guy like Greg Hardy who has a checkered past?
Yeah, personally for me, I'm fighting for something else. So the only thing on my mind is my boy Sai. So everything else is just a blur to me. I'm just focused on one thing, just for Sai, and I'm just gonna win this fight for him, and that's all that matters to me.
Do you see a lot of holes in his game going back and watching his fights?
Yeah, like you can see he hasn't fought for that long, so he's still got a lot to build up. But when you're that talented and athletic, you can make up for holes until you come across people that are more well-rounded for you. So yeah, obviously I've got a bit more fighting experience, but he's just got that freak athleticism.
You came up on the scene, went to Ultimate Fighter, Contender Series. Obviously, Contender Series freak thing happened. Dana White still praised you, had high things to say about you. Debut, you're in this huge, high-profile fight. What do you think that means, that the UFC and Dana White believes in you that much?
It means a lot to me that he's still giving me chances, but I think in the day he knows, like, from seeing me in Ultimate Fighter and Contender, my past fights, I used to fight 11, 12 times a year, boxing, kickboxing, MMA. End of the day, I just want to get in a fight. I just love fighting, and I don't care what happens in the cage or in the ring. I just want to go there, get hit people, and yeah, it's always good to have people like that in organizations.
You're making your debut, you're in Boston, really far away from home, but you're going against a guy that, I mean, many people dislike this guy. I mean, many people hate this guy. The crowd is probably going to be cheering for you, rocking for you, unlike anybody gets in their debut. You feeling any extra pressure with that?
Yeah, not really extra pressure. Like, it's good to have people behind me. It's always nice. I was at the Melbourne card 2 weeks ago, and just seeing the international fighters not getting as much support as the local fighters, I was kind of getting prepared to have the same thing when I walk out, just to crickets when I walk out. But yeah, knowing that there will be people cheering for me, that's pretty cool.
Speaking of that, you come from that area, the Australia, New Zealand area. It's like the booming area right now. Obviously, we got another champion, Israel Adesanya. Do you think you're going to be the next future star from that area?
Man, I don't know. I'm not one to kind of talk myself up. Like I said, I just love fighting and I get to do it for a living, so I'm happy. But I know that no matter what happens with our fighters on this side of the world, the takeover is going to keep going. We've got crazy guys. I can go back home to New Zealand. I can walk down the road just to buy bread and milk, and there'll be 10, 15 people that will be able to beat the shit out of me, man. But now we're getting the exposure, and then hopefully we can have more gyms popping up and just more talent coming through.
I just asked this question to Greg. I want to ask it to you. An angle that's getting looked at is you came from a rugby background. He comes from an NFL background. I have friends from that side of the area in the media world, and we have a rivalry. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I say NFL players are better athletes. They say rugby's tougher, NFL's tougher. You feel anything like that? Like your chance to show rugby guys are tougher than NFL guys?
Yeah, a few people have been talking to me about that as well, and yeah, it's weird because rugby's played over 80 minutes. You only get one break, half time. You keep going the whole time. So fitness is a lot different. NFL players very explosive off the mark, but I would probably say that NFL would be more similar training style to fighting because you need to be explosive. But man, rugby players are always tougher, bro.
My last question for you. Greg Hardy, he draws opinions no matter what, whether you're pro or against them. A lot of people, right from the very start, does not believe he deserves to be in the UFC because of his criminal past. Do you think he deserves to be in the UFC?
Man, yeah, personally for me, I don't really judge people until I meet them, and once I talk to them, get to know them, then I make my own opinions there. But like you saw, it's a close line for me to draw in the sand. What's the difference between someone not deserving here and someone like me this is my third chance? So if I don't really want to come and start saying, oh, this person shouldn't be here for this, no matter what the severity is of his past. When it's just too close to the line to draw, because if I start talking like that, then people might say the same thing about me. I lost an Ultimate Fighter, no contest in the contender. I shouldn't be here as well. So yeah, end of the day, doesn't matter whether you should be here or whether you shouldn't be here. We're still gonna fight anyway. So.
Sorry, I lied. One more question. He likes to swing it out. That's what you're known for.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance when you guys go to the ground, or you definitely say someone's getting knocked out?
I hope it doesn't go to the ground. It'll only go to the ground if he shoots on me. But we're gonna swing and someone's gonna get knocked out.
With this fight announcement, obviously you've got a lot more eyeballs on you now for the day that it got announced. Shortly thereafter, you tweeted, and I quote, "WTF is a can, and why is everyone calling me that? Candy's nuts." So, was there a lot of negativity coming your way? Or was there a lot of support coming too?
Oh, there's both. Like the Australian, New Zealand MMA community have always been behind me. People that have been watching me fighting locally and stuff. But yeah, I don't really go on Twitter that much. And when I saw everyone saying that, I just told my mates, "What the fuck does that mean?" And then they're saying, "Oh, it means like you're shit or something." And I was going, "Oh, okay. Fuck, Candy's nuts." I don't really care about what. I don't really care about that, but. Yeah, it's always good. I've kind of been an underdog a lot just because of the way I used to train, the way that I used to fight, bad habits I used to have. But I've got the right team behind me and doing everything properly now, so I love being the underdog.
And I saw Dan Kelly and Jim Cruder here for you this week. What kind of team do you guys have over there? Obviously, I'm sure both those guys have had a good impact on your career.
Yeah, we've got a great team. Everything that I need, I've got it in my home gym. Like Dan's there. I'm training with Jimmy every day. We've got Cal Potter, Jake Matthews, all local talent. If you look at any weight division in Australian MMA, we've got the top guys training at our gym with us. So everything we need is there, and it's good because they've had the experience. I've known what to expect, and I've got people to look up to.
How do you visualize this all playing out? When you close your eyes, you think about the ins and outs of the fight. How do you see it all getting done? How do you see yourself getting your hand raised?
Oh, I'm not really allowed to visualize stuff because when I close my eyes, I see spinning back kick to the head and then backflip and then might take him down and go for a twister. So I try not to visualize. My coach tells me what I'm meant to do in every situation, and I just listen to what he says.
You also have one of the best Tapology pictures in the game. Will we be seeing any magic marker coming out with abs for this one?
No, I'm trying to have real ones. I'm trying to hopefully have real ones, but we'll see because the UFC take bad angles when they take photos. That's the only reason that I haven't had abs so far.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle, how's it feel to be back? It's been a while since we've seen you in the cage, and you actually get to enjoy this fight week in Boston, not like last time, a little bit hectic.
It feels amazing. I mean, it's the third time fighting at the Garden. 1-1 at the Garden. Trained my ass off for this. It's put up or shut up. So I'm going there, lay it all out. I'm very excited to fight in the Garden again, my hometown. It's going to be a lot of fans, family, friends. So very excited.
You've lost 3 out of 4 coming into this one. Do you feel like there's any extra added pressure with your back up against the wall? I mean, 3 in a row, sometimes we see pink slips start to come up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just said, it's time to put up or shut up. I'm going there, throwing down, not holding anything back, looking to get a win, but not just a win, an impressive win. Hopefully negotiate for another contract and make my run for 2020.
And I think for a lot of guys coming in against somebody like Sean Woodson, who has that height, would be unusual. But you've been in there with Zabit. He's got that length. Do you feel like you have a little bit of maybe an extra added advantage coming into this one, that you've been in there with somebody that's so lengthy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does build confidence for that, but I like fighting taller guys. It brings up my natural style. You know, my name's Crash for a reason. I like to go in, slip and rip, hit the body, and just be my natural self. And I really have to game plan too much. Just be aggressive, move forward. I don't have to really defend any takedowns or watch any kicks for this fight. So you can see a lot of combos I'm going to open up on, and see a real good athlete and a good fight.
Over these last 10 months, you talked about all the work you've done, how you've sort of calculated yourself a little bit more. You wanted to take the Crash a little bit down a little bit.
Yeah.
How does this fight week feel, knowing that you've been able to make those adjustments, both mentally and physically?
I feel more mentally prepared than I ever felt in my whole entire career. I'm in a good spot right now. I had a long layoff, had a good performance versus Abbott, had a subpar performance versus Hakeem, had a bad injury, 10 months layoff. Financially, everything sucks, but like I said, it built character. I realized why I got in this in the first place. I'm back to my true self, looking to go in there and just not let anything hold me back. I'm going in there and, like I said, controlled chaos. It'll be a controlled crash. When my opportunity comes, I will jump on it.
How does it feel fighting in Boston yet again? I mean, is this just, it's obviously a really cool thing. How do you harness those emotions? Because obviously fighting in the Garden, you've probably been there a million times as a fan.
I say I'm going to harness it right now and I'll be fine, but I'm sure when I walk out, it's going to feel like the main event and my adrenaline's going to be going. I'm going to feel like a superhero. Before you know it, 15 minutes will be over. Like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? That's how it goes. But yeah, they're going to fuel my fire for sure, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of extra energy that I'm going to need to harness.
Kyle, I know you cross-train a lot, but you've always been loyal to Broadway Jiu-Jitsu. You want to talk about that gym and what Coach John Clark meant to you in your career personally?
Yeah, like I said, that gym saved my life, man. I had a tough upbringing, went down a dark road for a little bit, lost my position in life, started making little goals to change my life around, stumbled in Broadway Jiu-Jitsu. He saw something special in me and said the ceiling's very high for me. So he saved my life, Jiu-Jitsu saved my life, MMA saved my life, and John Clark's been on my back. He's had my back from day one. I have his back from day one, and he's the man.
You reference your past troubles and losing your direction in life, and over the past couple of months, you've been a little bit more open about that. You're 10 years sober now.
Yeah.
You've been open about your addiction. What kind of platform do you think you have with the UFC to be able to inspire others?
I never really wanted to open up about it before. I had 10 years sobriety. I decided to put an Instagram post to, if there's anyone out there that was going through some tough times, maybe to help them. And then it just took off. People started to want to find out more about it and kind of like what fuels me and stuff like that. And I have been opening up about it, and it's been pretty nice. I have a voice now that I see, and the messages I've been getting on social media has been inspirational. Like, it's been inspiring, and realizing that I'm doing the right thing and making an impact on people's lives, and they can see it in my fighting style, that the way I carry myself. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go out, I don't go party. I'm very disciplined. I have all my ducks in a row. I set goals and I kill them. I do everything right, and I inspire others, so that's why I'm very excited for this fight on Friday, and people are going to see that in my fight.
Doing that obviously inspires others and it helps other people. How much has opening up like that helped you in terms of like how therapeutic has that been for you?
It was tough in the beginning because I didn't know what type of backlash I was going to get. You know, was it going to be people, you know, talking bad about it? Was people going to be open about it? But it has been very therapeutic, and that's why I said over this 10th-month layoff, I realized why I got into this in the first place. It's not the money, it's not the fame, it was to be someone and to get out of that dark past, and that's the fuel that fires me. Intrinsic motivation. I'm not doing it for nothing else.
Kyle, you went against the beat. You're a huge underdog. You almost pulled up a big upset, one of the best fights of 2018, a Fight of the Year candidate. Then you said your next fight against Hakeem, you said you had a subpar performance. What went wrong in that fight?
I did everything perfect leading up to the fight. I had a vacation set for the day after that fight. So Hakeem got me with a good shot in that fight, and I didn't think it was going to mess me up mentally, but it did. And I got to get on that plane tomorrow. You know, my wife's worked hard all year, and I try to play it safe and connect on one shot and get him out of there. And it didn't go my way. In 15 minutes was done before I could do anything, and it was the worst taste in my mouth. I have not let that go, and I made sure that I'm going to sacrifice everything possible for this fight. I haven't. She's gone to Greece this camp. I haven't gone. I haven't gone to nobody's birthdays. I missed my sister's son being born. Like, I'm all in for this fight. So when fight night comes, I don't want to be in the back room counting, did I skip a training session? Should I have not gone on that vacation? Should I go on that vacation? I know I did everything right, and this is the way I'm going to carry my career for the rest of my life.
How important is it to have that support of your wife? I mean, you've gone through a lot of stuff. She's been with you from day one. She retweets all the posts that you're mentioning. So
Yeah,
she's
I know.
obviously a big supporter of yours.
Very big.
And this is a business where it's very difficult to find somebody who actually understands the fight game. How important and beneficial has that been for you?
Huge. I met her when I was 6 months clean, a long, long time ago, before I even was into martial arts. I was with her. So she's been through the whole ride, getting my Cinderella license, having blown a device in the car to start my car, driving me to jobs to get interviews, driving me training sessions. So she's been there since day one, and she's like my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. She's my rock, and you know, I would say I couldn't do this without her, but you know, she made it a hell of a lot easier.
You mentioned that you have your back against the wall, that you could be out of a job if you lose. Is there a way to spin it as a positive? You know, you come out differently, maybe more aggressive, or you know, you just different mentality, something?
I always do good with my back against the wall. This is the type of person I am. It's when I usually have my best performances in life. You know, when things hit the fan, and your back's against the wall, that's when I do my best. And that's the way I'm looking at it as a positive. I'm using it to just do my best. Like, it's do or die. I may be out of a job on Monday. I'm not going to let that happen. I got future. I got plans.
You come from Gloucester, Mass. It's a blue-collar, very tough fisherman town, very, very high in drugs. Obviously something you know all about. You're a long shot to be in this position. While you're coming up on the scene, fighting at local American Legions, Joe Lazan was in the UFC.
Yeah.
There's rumors that this is his last fight. What does Joe mean to you?
Joe, I mean, he's an inspiration as well, and I've been watching Joe since I didn't know Joe personally. I was a fan of the UFC. I've been watching Joe fight for years before I was even a fighter or stumbled in the door of martial arts. For Joe to open the doors to me, help me on my amateur career, help me out with camps. When I became pro, gone to UFC, now we're training partners, helping each other for this fight. It's been really eye-opening and humbling, and I'm honored. And Joe's the man, and we push each other's camp, and I think you can see the best version of each other.
Like I said, you come from Gloucester. It's a very, very tough area. You got to be tough to be from there.
Yeah, they call it the fighting fisherman for a reason.
That's right. That said, you know, there's somebody right now struggling in that area. Somebody who has just as much potential as you had, whether it be fighting somewhere else. If they're listening right now, what message would you give them?
Don't give up hope. Even though you don't know what the future looks like, put the right foot forward. Make a little goal, whatever it is. Go for a run, go for a workout, apply for a job. I don't know, have a glass of orange juice instead of having a beer. Like, just the next step, that little tiny goal that you accomplish will feel good. Keep doing it, and before you know it, I mean, that's the way I got through 10 years. It wasn't by, oh, where am I going to be in 10 years? It's like, what am I doing in the next minute? What am I doing in the next hour? What can I do today to benefit tomorrow? So there is a tomorrow. I don't want to, before you pick up anything, play the tape. Where will I be if I do this? You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You don't know where you're going to be, who you had to apologize to, who you got to run from, who's looking to fight you. Like, it's not worth it. Put your right foot forward, make a little goal, and accomplish it.
Good luck here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Oh, wait, that was 2 years ago, right? The other boss? Yeah, I was going to give you the trigger question. I was like, who's the greatest living person? I said, you'll get this one right. You're not even Boston. You said Tom Brady. Yeah, I do remember that. Awesome, brother.
More cameras.
Basically, how much more time do you have to beat John Jones' record?
Ooh, I haven't looked at my phone, but there's some just over 2 years, I believe.
ESPN came out with a list this week of the best fighters under the age of 25. I think you came in at number 6.
Should have been number 1.
Yeah, do you think they put you too low?
No. Yeah, they put me too low. I'm number 1. But yeah, where's Sean O'Malley? He's not fighting. Where is he? Where is he? I fought more.
Your opponent, Jillian Robertson, was also on that list. It's kind of unusual for two up-and-comers like you with a lot of potential and hype behind you to meet each other. Were you surprised that this fight was the one that was made?
No, you know, honestly, I really don't care. It's whoever wants to take the fight and whoever wants to go out there and get a beating.
The difference for this camp is that you did the entire camp at Rufus Sport. I know last time you did a bit of cross-training. How did that go, and how did you blend in with the rest of the team?
The camp went great. I couldn't be happier. Getting to work with everybody at Rufus Sport, Ben Askren. I mean, it's been a huge help in my training.
Has Ben given you any tips on trash talking and all that? Because Ben's sort of the king of that, especially on social media.
I'm gonna keep that quiet, but he's definitely taught me a lot.
Yeah, and how good of a coach is he? I mean, we see him as this fighter.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. He's one of the best in the world, and it's an honor to work with him.
And how about training with your brother? Is that you guys grew up together, but you know he's in the gym every day. How has that been? Just now, you guys are both chasing a dream.
Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier. My brother's 18. He had his first amateur fight. His name's Wyatt Barber, and being able to train with him, he's been in every training session that I've gone to for this camp. And again, being able to train with people that I know have my best interest is incredible.
Are you surprised that this whole "I want to beat John Jones" thing has taken off so much? It's like every time you do it, you're asked about it. And
No, because it's a feasible goal. It's a feasible and attainable thing that I have going on because I'm 21, and why not? Why not set big goals for myself?
But are you surprised that it's got so much interest from fans and us media? We always, it's almost like no one else has really just come in and said, "I want to do this," and that particular goal has got singular interest from people.
Honestly, I think it's interesting to people because I think they believe it. They believe it like I believe it. I have the ability, I have the age, and I have the skills to be able to do that. So And it's a good story for people to follow along. You know, it's something that people can follow along and see progress throughout the next 2 years. So it's kind of like watching a TV show. You know, you can't wait to see the next step. So that's how it is.
Is there some big twist that we're not expecting in the TV show?
Oh, you can it's kind of like one of those predictable ones where you can expect me to finish these girls and beat them up and move on to the next.
You're clearly somebody that likes to plan ahead, kind of map out your road here. How many, I'm not talking in actual physical time, but how many more fights, how close do you feel like you are to getting that achieving that goal?
You know, that's kind of a hard question to answer because I don't know. You know, I'm fine with fighting again. You know, I'm fighting Jillian and I'm taking it this fight, and then I'll fight the next one, and if it happens to be 2 fights from now, if it happens to be 3 fights from now, I really don't care, as long as it's within my dates.
Did you feel like with the win over her, I mean, you'll crack the top 10 yourself, maybe get a top 10 opponent as well?
I believe I will crack the top 10, but as far as, like, picking and choosing, I'm not trying to rush anything. I was just talking to the production team about that. I'm not trying to rush anything, you know. I could technically, I believe that if I was offered the fight with Valentina tomorrow, I'd go in there and I'd truly believe that I could win that fight, and I'd go out there and do everything I can to win that fight, and I believe it would be a fight, and I believe that I would win that title. But why do it right now? You know, why not take the next couple years and not just go out there and fight her, but go out there and dominate her?
I get the impression you kind of enjoy this media stuff and showing yourself off. Are you sort of waiting for someone to come along and match you and be like, oh, I'm going to stop her, she'll never get that record because of me? Would you have fun with that dynamic if opponent came?
And go for it. That's what everyone wants to see. They want to see the rival. They want to see, who wants to see 2 people go in there and be like, oh, I love my opponent, you know, I think they're great, and who wants to see that? It's like the same boring old, you know, there's no drama. The drama is what gets the fans, and yeah, I like that because it's fun. You know, it keeps it entertaining and keeps you hungry.
Is there anyone in your division that you see who has that sort of X factor, who could play the villain role, or you could play the villain, maybe the hero, or whatever?
I've been told that I'm the villain right now, so I'm okay with that. I don't mind being the villain. But in all the divisions, you know, I was just talking about how I potentially maybe back down at 115 eventually. So whether it's Valentino or Wailing, I truly believe I could fight both of those girls and win.
Jillian Robinson, obviously, has got a lot of potential, highly thought of, especially on the ground. But you brutalize females that have gone to the ground with you. Would you say to her that would be the biggest mistake if she tried to take it to the ground?
If she tries to take me down and I don't stuff that takedown, then I wouldn't expect anything less than from me for this fight as well.
Back to the John Jones thing. John Jones, a lot of people give him the title as the greatest fighter of all time. After you beat his record, is that the next title you're gonna take from him? The title of
I like how you stated that. After you beat his, not if. I like that.
that
was great. I like that. Yeah, you could call me that. I mean, there's a lot of people to compete with. There's a lot of phenomenal athletes and fighters to compete with. You know, Demetrius Johnson, John Jones. I mean, there's a lot of them to compete with for the greatest fighter of all time. And I feel like at 21, and even after I take that youngest title, there are still fighters out there who have done way more than I have, and they deserve the title of that until I can put in the work and take it from them too.
Say hypothetically, you run through her, everything changes in the division, somehow both Weili and Shevchenko look for opponents. Hypothetically, Dana White says to you, you know what, you've been talking big game, let's see it. Pick one. Who do you want to fight? Which one are you picking?
Right away?
Yeah, right now.
I'd move back down to 115 and take that one first. Only because I really believe that that's one that right now I could go in and just dominate that fight. Valentina would be a back and forth, and I truly believe I would take that title still. But I'd rather have it be a beatdown than a back and forth brawl.
You mentioned sort of being the villain now, and I know that's something that's sort of changed a little bit for you in your UFC career. How have you dealt with that from like a social media perspective? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people just wanting to tell you off and everything like that. How have you dealt with that?
In terms of social media from like just average people?
Yeah, just
that's what
I'm sure you're getting a lot more feedback because there's a lot of Paige Van Zandt fans who I'm sure are coming after you as well and that whole thing.
I mean, if you're a supporter of a fighter, then you're going to support him all the way, and I respect that. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said for like complete ignorance, and if you're just going to be like, oh well, Paige is just going to beat you up, I mean, you're just stupid, and you're not thinking straight.
What gives you this confidence? I mean, you come in, other people don't talk the way you do. Where do you find that
I
confidence?
put in the work. I go out there and I find the best people that I can to train with. I go out there and I train. Not only do I train with them, but I put so many hours in with them. I'm not just like I don't just go into the gym and train for 2 hours a day and call it good. My whole day, every single day, is spent thinking about, okay, is what I'm doing today going to make me better tomorrow? Or is what I'm doing today going to make me better next week? So I obsess over it, and that's where it comes from, is I'm always trying to be the best that I can, and when you're always doing that, there's nothing but confidence when you're doing everything you can.
And obviously, you're very young, and a lot of 21-year-olds would not be doing what you're doing right now. Have you lost like friends over the years just with, because you've had to focus so much on the sport? Like, how have you dealt with the social side of your life, trying to become the greatest ever?
Honestly, I think that there's a lot of people that don't understand. It's hard to tell average minds what you're doing, and that's okay. It's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. But over the years, I have found people, within the gym and within the community of elite athletes. I've had the opportunity to go and meet a lot of the NASCAR drivers and people from different sports, and to find other professionals doing other sports and to see their mentality. That's where I find more friends and more people to connect with. It's hard to connect with people who are okay with just go to a job, work 8 hours a day and go home and then just repeat the same cycle over again and never see yourself and never really set goals. So a lot of times it's hard in a social standpoint, but everybody has their own life and everyone has their own journey, and I respect it all, but that's just how I look at life.
And you mentioned dropping down to 115 potentially. I don't know if you saw the news yesterday with California. They put those new rules in now. If you're 15% over your weight, they'll cancel the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you think, maybe I'm not going to fight in California just in case, because I know it is a tough cut for you?
No, because I've been working with the Performance Institute, mm-hmm. and the whole reason why I couldn't fight at 115 was because it wrecked my body the first time, because I was put on a bad diet. We've heard the story. Yeah, it ruined my body. But working with Clint, Duncan, Roman, Heather, Tara, everybody at the Performance Institute has helped me and helped my body, and I truly believe that I can go back to my normal walking around weight, which was 133. I used to walk around at 133 pounds, and I was healthy and I felt great. Now I'm like that at 125, but I think that fighting 115 is no problem, and even if it was in California.
And you said it would take some time to go back down. I remember when we did the scrum earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Do you have sort of an idea of when that might happen? Is it the right fight? Like, do you feel like after this you could go down to 115?
Yeah, I heard Paige Van Zandt wants to fight December against Michelle because she tried calling her out, and she said 115. So if Paige wants to fight at 115, I'll go to 115 as well, or 125. I really don't care, as long as I get to fight her.
What is it about that fight that you want to fight Paige Van Zandt?
At first it was kind of just that I wanted to fight Paige Van Zandt, and now I just really want to fight Paige Van Zandt.
What did she do?
I mean, there's obviously been a lot of back and forth, but just like you said, I guess the drama back and forth, she turned something that was kind of nothing into something, and then decided to have an issue with me. So now I like to be the person that kind of gets under your skin, and that's fun for me. So aside from that, I mean, she's a very beatable person, and yeah,
She's talked a lot about her contract coming up and maybe testing free agency. Would you be disappointed if you didn't get that fight and she went somewhere else? Like, you just never got the opportunity?
How can she do that if she has one fight left on her contract?
Well, say she fights someone else, her contract comes up, and then she goes somewhere
How's
else.
she going to fight someone else?
Has the UFC given you any indication about doing that fight? Because usually when fighters, put a lot out there on social media and stuff, it usually sort of sells itself. Have you gotten any indication that they would be interested in doing that fight?
I mean, she posted a poll of who she wanted to see fight next, or someone posted a poll about it. Yeah. And I think I was 80% of the votes from the people. So I think people want to see that fight.
So you sending that to the matchmakers, being like, just by the way.
Oh, they already know. Yeah, Dana already knows. Yeah. We've communicated.
Okay. Macy.
Yes.
Paige is not even ranked in either of
That's
the
okay.
classes.
I don't care.
Would that get you off your schedule to beat Jones's record if you?
How would it get me off this? No.
You know what I mean? Like, if
Well,
you beat a top 15, then you go top 10 instead of being a top 15 and then going unranked. You know what I mean?
don't get me wrong. I truly believe in the rankings, but I also think a lot of it's politics. And I also believe that if you fight and you just beat people up, and you're someone that people want to watch fight, you're gonna get the opportunity no matter what. I mean, look at gosh, who was it? Was it Ben Askren? Maybe. You know, he fought like he went from fighting like one fight to fighting some of the top guys. So I mean, rankings aren't always everything. And how would I not move up in the rankings after just beating another girl up? I'm not going to take a loss on that. So the only reason why I would move down in the rankings was if I lost, and that's not going to happen.
We're talking about John Jones' record. We're talking about Paige Van Zandt. What are you doing mentally to make sure you don't look past Jillian?
I'm not looking past Jillian. Believe me, I'm not. I have my sights set on big goals, but like I said, I still have the little goals ahead of me, and finishing this fight isn't just a little goal. It's a huge goal, but there are like the big life goals that I also have, and that's beating a John Jones record.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Afternoon.
All right, so after we talked to you yesterday at the open workouts, after you told us that you were trying to, push the anger to the side and just relax, we talked to Jeremy, kind of on the opposite side of that spectrum. He's still very fired up. Do you think it'll be difficult at all for you to keep those emotions under wraps when you step in there with him?
I don't think so. No. I think we all deal with that. We all have things to deal with in our minds, and I have my own battles to deal with. I'm not dealing with them, with his issues as well. So I'm just, doing the best that I can with what I have, and that's it.
He said that if he doesn't kill you, it's not a win. What do you think about those comments?
As I'm telling you, bro, I think everybody has their own battles to deal with. If he thinks that way, then God bless him, bro, because he's in a deep shit right here. I think he already has a lot of trouble in his life and stuff that he has to deal with that I don't even really want to keep on pushing too much into his head. I want him fresh for this fight because, he's a tough opponent. I don't want him to be weak. This is showing me that he's weak, and I want him fresh. I want you fresh, bro.
You have being very calm. He was very emotional. Do you think that benefits you to Friday?
I think so. You gotta go into a fight completely focused, thinking on what your goal is, and not focusing on the other guy. I'm only fighting me. My only opponent up there in the cage is me. I have to win every second of the fight against me, not against him.
He was saying that he's a badass motherfucker and he doesn't think you are. Do you think he just has the complete wrong idea of you as a person and what you bring to the cage?
Well, as I said yesterday, I welcome you anytime. Whenever you want to come to my hometown and you want to see how life is in there, I can show you real quick. Things go there from 0 to 100 in less than a second. So if you think that, I'm fine too, but I can show you anytime.
Do you think that's just because of your fighting style? You got the flashy kicks and stuff. Maybe someone like him, who's a bit more of a brawler, they see that and they think, oh, this guy's not the same as me. Doesn't have the same grit.
I think. So it's two kinds of people: those who kick somebody when he's in the floor, and those who doesn't. I'm not one of those guys. I don't kick nobody whenever he's in the floor. So if he likes to do that, I'm fine. We're fighters. We're fighting anyways, and in my career as a martial artist, something that I have learned is that, we're competitors. He can think he's a killer or he can think whatever he wants. We're just competing.
Speaking of your hometown, Mexico City obviously came out very hard for you, cheering like crazy. They also got a lot of criticism for throwing things into cage, pouring beers on fighters. Apparently, Angela Hill claims that Jeremy got punched by a fan. What do you think about those actions?
Well, I don't
And
think.
Do you think it'll affect going there in the future?
I don't think I don't think people's reaction was the most proper, But I couldn't do nothing about it. I didn't tell the fan punch him, I didn't tell the fans throw shit at him, throw things at him. It was people's reaction, first reaction before even I start speaking in the microphone. You can go and watch the replay again. I remained calm until I was in the cage for those 6 minutes. The doctor was shaking him, and people started throwing stuff at him, and people was putting a lot of pressure. He was just with his eyes closed. I think right here with your eyes closed is one word. Whenever you close your eyes and whenever you're in a dark room by yourself, who you are, what you're thinking there, that's what it really matters. I think whenever he closed his eyes and whenever he realized then he was in deep shit, he decided to use the rules to get out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, do you have any regrets though? Like I saw a lot of people say that maybe if you'd have told the crowd to calm down a little bit, speak in Spanish on the microphone or something. I mean, do you feel like maybe in retrospect you could have handled that situation a little bit different? Maybe you could have helped the crowd calm down a little bit?
I mean, I think I did with what I said, but he was already out of the place whenever I grabbed the microphone. You can go and watch the replays again, as I'm telling you. People start throwing stuff before I even start talking or doing anything. I mean, as I'm telling you, I don't think it was the best reaction, but it was the most natural reaction of people doing that. I mean, poor Jeremy, bro. I think nobody would like to have that situation. I think it was kind of sad. But even like that, I think the most hurt in there was me.
You talked about your hometown going from 0 to 100 really fast. What kind of stuff have you seen go that fast?
Whenever you wanna, I can show you because some stuff I can say.
Yesterday, you kept using certain terminology. You kept saying, you referred to your fighting as dancing around. You said that you would have an advantage in a 5-round fight because it gave you more time to move around. Do you think that's inaccurate? Do you feel like you're going to go in there on Friday and stand in the pocket and trade with him and give him the best exchanges that he can have?
I think, as I was telling you, every time that you're going to fight, it's a different fight. No matter if it's the same opponent, everybody comes with a different mindset, and you can see it, going into a fight. I think this fight is a complete different opponent because of his mindset. Even though he's the same, I changed my strategy as well, and if I can fight 5 rounds in high altitude, I think I can do 3 in sea level. So.
When you hear him say that he gave you the advantage in a 5-round fight, do you think that that's a signal that he's going to come out super aggressive on Friday?
Of course.
Yeah.
But what else he can do? It's the only way that he knows how to fight. So that's what I was expecting, anyways.
Yesterday, you didn't really want to talk about it. We mentioned that if you win, especially if you win in a spectacular fashion, there's a very good chance you're facing the winner of Max Holloway, Alex Volkanovski. I know you said you're not focusing on that, but do you have a prediction on who wins, and who do you think you match up stylistically with better?
Well, I think the fight can go either way. Why? Because I think Alexander Volkanovski is a young, tough guy, tough opponent, prospect, and he went inside the rankings real quick. And as we saw him against Jose Aldo, he controlled him. We have never seen something like that before. But Jose Aldo is going from his prime, is going a little bit like down, because of the age and all the years and all that, And I think Max Holloway is on his prime right now. I think Max Holloway is really hard to beat. And if either of those opponents come with a nice strategy, either one can take the fight, But I think if Volkanovski wants to win, he has to close distance and try to keep him down, hold him down, or hold him in the cage, try to make some damage in there, like wrestle him down. And Max Holloway, of course, has to be away.
You've been linked to Zabit for a while. You guys were scheduled to fight each other. I know, obviously, he has a very tough matchup with Calvin Kattar. But is that a fight that you feel like you need to get because of?
I asked the UFC, and I was trying to get the fight in Mexico City because it was a fight that the fans wants to see, and I don't know, something was going on with him, and the fight couldn't happen. The fight offered to me was Jeremy Stevens, and it was that. use that. And I've been asking to fight. I mean, as I said before, and I will say it again, Jeremy Stevens wasn't my first option because he's behind me on the rankings, not because I did respect him or whatever. And I'll say it again, I'm always looking to fight somebody that is ahead of me in the rankings in order for me to move forward, And I don't even care about the opportunity of fighting for the title shot right now. All my focus right now is fighting Friday against Jeremy Stevens and perform well.
After they called off the fight in Mexico City, you obviously were very emotional. One thing that got a lot of eyeballs was when Michael Bisping came up to you, talked to you, you pushed him, swore at him. I know immediately afterwards you apologized. Did you guys ever talk a little deeper about that? And is there no animosity anymore?
No, what I said was against him. It wasn't against him. It was just in the moment. I didn't realize who was touching me when I was like, whoa! So, I was just in the moment, just feeling all that, And then I really think I did really well, I mean, there is some emotions going through you whenever you are inside a cage in front of all that people and with all the pressure and stuff, And I think I calmed myself down real quick, as we have seen before. Shit gets a lot worse sometimes, so I think I deal with it real good, Instead of acting really bad. I think I did a great job, and we are human beings. You cannot be so tough on me and like, oh, your reaction, and we are human beings. Are you gonna tell me that you never have done that before, so you are perfect? Then you should be teaching me how to act.
So no way you're calling Bisping out of retirement for a match, right?
Probably I will. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, brother. You were so big. That's it. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, guys.
Another fight week for you. You're facing a fellow member of the ESPN top 25 under 25 list. When Macy Barber's name popped up on the other side of that contract, what were your emotions and how excited were you that it was him?
Oh, this is exactly the fight that I wanted. Right before my last fight, my coach was talking to me. He's like, oh, who should we call out? Who should we look at? And we looked at the list. And I was like, why not Macy Barber? And he was like, let's hold off on that one. And then 2 days later, he confirmed the fight for me. So this is exactly the fight I wanted. So I've never been more excited for a fight.
Were you surprised at all that they offered you Macy just because you both are up-and-comers that have a lot of hype behind you? You are surging right now. Were you surprised that she was the one?
Yes and no. I feel like you said, we're both up-and-comers, so it's a big opportunity for both of us. But I feel like she needs to be tested, and I'm really that first test she's had in the UFC.
They just came out with a list, top fighters under 25 years old. You were on that list. Macy was hired. Do you think it was wrong that she was higher than you?
I've been asked that before, and yes. I definitely feel like she gets a lot of publicity off the way she talks. She puts herself out there a little bit more than I do, but I feel like my fighting skills speak for me more than hers do. She hasn't really been tested by tough opponents. This is my 5th fight in the UFC. It's her third, and I really feel like this is the first time she's going to get tested.
You just said it. She hasn't been tested. You believe you have. Similar questions. She's higher ranked than you on the UFC rankings. I mean,
I don't really know how it all works, but like I said, I think her mouth gets her a lot of places. I feel like she talks herself out there, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Good for her. Like, she's getting her name up there, but I feel like I deserve that spot.
You're known for your submission skills on the ground. She's known for her ground and pound. She feels very comfortable if it goes into that area. She's going to win. What do you have to say about that?
Like I said, I feel like she hasn't been tested. She's fought 2 grapplers who are blue belts, and I feel like those are the girls that she's comparing me to, that she was able to ground and pound with. Last 2 girls she fought were, or last 3 girls she's fought were all strikers. So compared to their ground game, it's just going to be a different world. Like, she's never felt pressure like mine. She's never felt a submission attack game like mine, and I've got ground and pound too. So I'm lethal from anywhere.
So when she was up here, she was here for 10 minutes. A lot of the questions were about John Jones' record. A lot of the questions was about Paige Van Zandt. Not a lot of questions about you. Do you think she's overlooking you?
I 100% think she's overlooking me. All I've heard about is Paige Van Zandt this camp. I'm like, talk shit about the person you got a contract with, not some random girl that doesn't mean anything right now. Like, Paige is just making her comeback, and you got an important fight in front of you on Friday, so focus on that.
She obviously gets a lot of attention for the way she talks. Do you ever think to yourself as an up-and-coming fighter, like, maybe I should just throw some shit out there as well?
Yeah, but I guess it's not really me. I'm more of a little bit shy, socially awkward, kind of reserved person. I spend a lot of time at the dog park, and that's about it. So I'm not one to like go out there and start something. But like I said, I feel like my fighting skills talk for me.
Saying that though, you always post on social media, and I see you do a lot of media as well. Is that just to overcome that, to get more comfortable with the whole media side of things?
I feel like that's the only way to get better at it, is to keep on doing it. When I was younger, I first worked at the Humane Society. That was my first job, and all I did was volunteer with animals, and I forced myself to get a job at Chili's because I wanted to get better at talking to people. Okay. I knew that it would be part of my job, and I needed to get better at it. So I just try my hardest to get better at it.
I think anyone who's worked in the service industry knows that people are generally terrible. What was your worst experience working at Chili's?
There's a lot of bad ones. I always say no matter what, like, I've left the gym crying this camp some days, and those days are better than any day I had to clock into Chili's. So I'm just happy about that.
You mentioned that before this fight was booked, you spoke to your coach who you should call out, or asked. You said Macy. He said hold off. Why did he say hold off?
I'm not really sure his reasoning behind it, but literally 2 days after my Sarah Froda fight, he texted me. He was like, Macy Barber, October 18th. And I was like, is it confirmed? And he was like, well, if you want it. And I was like, of course. And he was like, good, because I already said yeah.
You mentioned that she is a star because she talks and all this and a lot of attention. Are you looking at this your moment to kind of steal that attention and become one of the stars in the UFC's women's divisions?
I definitely feel like this is a breakthrough fight for me. Like I said, I feel like she talks a lot. She's got the tension around her, and this is the time to derail that hype train.
Also, your division is wide open. There really isn't a challenger right now that's kind of ahead of the pack. Do you think that with a impressive win, ESPN, that you could be next in line for a title shot?
I think that's a little bit much. I don't think they're going to push me that far ahead, but maybe 2-3 more fights, and then the title shot would be in my future, I see.
And we've talked all about, her talking about all these other things, except for you. Do you take that personally? Does that annoy you that she's like, not talking about this fight and talking more about future plans?
Not really. And I guess I look at it and just kind of laugh that she's overlooking me. She doesn't really see my style as threatening, I guess, which is kind of silly since I have 6 finishes out of my 7 wins. But I get it. My style doesn't look intimidating. People are like, I just have to defend the takedown. And then they get in there and realize it's not that easy, and they're drowning on the ground and they can't do anything.
Have you seen her this week at all? Like in the hotel?
Just one time when she was walking out of this room.
How was that? Tell me that experience. Was it cool? How did it?
It was just awkward eye contact. That was it.
When you say she's overlooking you, and she could well be, does that give you more confidence? Like, oh, she has no idea what she's about to get in there. Does that give you a sense of confidence?
A little bit, but also I don't necessarily know what's going through her mind. She could not be overlooking me, so I got to go in there just like she's prepared 10 weeks for just my fight and got to really look into it. She's a threat no matter what. She's 7-0 for a reason.
One of the things that I think a lot of people notice about you, we have a lot of fighters say, oh, this is the best camp I had, I made so many improvements, and they go out there and look the same. But with you, it seems like your rate of improvement shows every single fight. And you're always matched up in these close fights and the odds. Do you feel like history is just going to repeat itself in that category on Friday?
100%. I always feel like I'm the underdog, but like I said, I feel like my style's not intimidating. It's easy to overlook, and I'll show everybody who the Savage is on Friday.
How's Boston so far? Just last question I was going to ask. How's it been being out here?
I haven't really done too much yet. Just a lot of weight cut, and I don't leave my hotel room a lot. I'm so focused mentally on this fight, and it's really just all I want.
What are you doing in the room, watching Netflix? What's keeping yourself occupied?
A little bit of movies, a little bit of visualization, meditation, reading, all of that. I always stay focused on the fight.
You mentioned that she gets most of the eyeballs. You don't get as many. This is a big moment for you. A lot of casual fans don't know you. What are they going to say about you after the event?
I feel like I'm just going to really impress Boston. I'm really going to show the world who I am. They're going to see my submission skills, see my all my ground and pound, and I'm just going to put on a show, put on a performance, and really make it a clinic.
Has it been different at American Top Team with Kobe Covington, Joanna, Dustin, Jorge Masvidal, the feud at all? Has the dynamics changed a little bit?
I'm the socially awkward one in the back. I don't really. I work with Dean, and then I go home and hang out with my dog, and that's about it. All right. All right, thank you.
Right in here? All right. You know what? I don't want to be rude and have gum in my mouth. Thank you. Yo, Jim, you mind holding the water? Make sure Delonte doesn't touch that.
You're not allowed in here.
He's drooling everywhere. What's up, guys?
So Vellante might be the biggest distraction of your week.
What's that?
It feels like Vellante might be the biggest distraction.
He always is the biggest distraction of my week. You know, I could deal with my 3 kids easier than I could deal with him. He is a disaster.
Was Fat Thor a nickname made up on the spot, or was that?
That was on the spot, and he'll give me credit for that. I've never said that to him before, and we make fun of each other all day long.
We came in here, I'm thinking I'm going to be nice.
You want to stand next to me? You're like killing the show right now, Fat Thor. Come here. I'm going to be him for Halloween. I'm Fat Thor for Halloween for sure. Yeah, so, yeah, no, he's a huge distraction. Was that the question still? Okay, yeah.
The day before weigh-ins, a little bit different than the last few cuts that you've had on weigh-ins Eve.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I always look forward to my weight cuts just because if you don't look forward to it, then you're hoping it doesn't come and it's only worse. So I was always positive about it, but now that I'm not cutting weight, I'm like, holy smokes, I was killing myself all those years, you know. I just feel so much better this week for all camp, you know, just keeping my body healthy. And that was the main point of me going up was, you know, I just want to be healthy. I've been fighting injuries my whole career, and I think a lot of that was because I was cutting a lot of weight, depleting my body of what it needs. And so to be at my natural weight, I've never felt better throughout camp. And then also fight week, it's like, wow, I mean, not to be focused so much on how much I weigh every single day and how much weight I got to lose, and just kind of enjoy the process, deal with Fat Thor. It's just it's a cool experience.
Chris, why do you think it's so hard for fighters to get to that realization, you know, that I'd be better off if I wasn't putting my body through this?
I mean, you know, I think I don't know. I think it's different for everybody. For me, it was just time. You know, I accomplished my goals at middleweight. You know, I became a multiple-time world champion, undefeated for a long time, and then I lost my belt. Then the goal was, all right, I want to win that belt back, defend the belt as many times again. But that goal kind of became like stagnant and I wasn't super excited about it because it was something I already accomplished. So I was just gonna let me accomplish it again. But to go up to light heavyweight now, it just gives me a whole I feel like I'm rejuvenated mentally as far as my goal setting, which I think was a big part for me. For me, my goal was always to be, early in my career, my goal was to be the world champion at middleweight. And, my goal was to beat Anderson Silva and beat him again in a rematch. That was really, where I seen it going. I was rushed to that point. And all of a sudden it happened. And I'm like, all right, now they're setting me up with Leo Machida. Then you got Vitor Belfort. Then Luke Rockhold. Then I lose my belt. I'm like, all right, I guess I gotta want to win this back and then do it again. And I felt like I was going through the motions a little bit. And I realized that really when I decided to go up. And it was not because of the realization that I wanted to shift my goals. It was because of injuries and stuff. And now that I'm here, I'm realizing, wow, I feel like I'm back to where I was started as far as my mindset and what I want to accomplish. I feel so much more set on what I'm doing.
We spoke to Dominic Reyes. I asked him what was the biggest area where you imposed a threat to him. He said wrestling. One, do you agree with that? And then flip it. Where do you think he imposes the biggest threat to you?
Yeah, I'm going to say my wrestling and jiu-jitsu are probably the biggest threat for him. And then also just the well-rounded, the fact that I'm a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's a good striker. That's what he probably brings. That's the most dangerous. I think I fought better strikers. He's bigger than most of the guys I fought, but as far as precision and dangerous strikers, I think I fought more dangerous guys. But I think the fact that he has to worry about the takedowns and that jiu-jitsu, because that could be the end of the night for him, will change the stand-up as well. So I think me just being in the cage with him and having him have to deal with all that multitasking is really the game changer. He hasn't had to deal with that. Sorry. He hasn't really had to deal with that in any of his fights. He hasn't really fought a guy who is well-rounded or has really great wrestling. You know, he got taken down 3 or 4 times from Volkan Ozdemir, who had 1 or 2 takedowns in his entire UFC career before that. He did a good job getting back to his feet. But again, it's not somebody who's going to be as persistent and have the pressure like I bring. And yeah, we'll see.
You spoke a lot about John Jones, saying one of the biggest motivations going up is to be the guy to defeat John Jones. Two-part question. A lot of people view John Jones as the greatest fighter of all time. Do you agree with that? Second part, where do you think you stand in the all-time GOAT rankings?
So, yeah, going up to light heavyweight, one of the main reasons I'm excited is definitely because there's a guy there that people think can't be beat, and people consider one of the greatest of all times, if not the greatest of all time. And that's what really excited me when I was down at middleweight. So to have the opportunity to not just shock the world once, but also twice in my career and beat 2 of the guys that people think are the GOATs, that's the legacy I think I want to leave behind. And as far as him being the GOAT, I think if you look at his record and who he's beat and how he's done it, yeah, he's the GOAT. But then you look and you put the drug testing stuff out there, and I'm not, and I'll be honest, like I'm just kind of like a casual fan when it came to everything that he did and failed. I didn't like read into it like crazy and know really everything behind it, you know, the picograms and all that crap. I haven't like investigated it 100%, but at the end of the day, he's failed multiple drug tests. And I think anytime that you do that, it puts an asterisk on your whole career. And you have to say that. And same thing with Anderson Silva. You know, he's failed drug tests too, and for performance enhancers. And I think that you have to put a question on the rest of their career. It's just like baseball. Besides, this is way more of a devastating sport. You know, we're not just hitting balls over the fence. You know, we're trying to take each other out. So anytime a guy fails a drug test, you gotta, you know, that's a serious thing.
Do you think John Jones is a tougher puzzle to crack than your Anderson fights?
You know what? Yes and no. At the time, so if you look at Anderson Silva now and versus John Jones, yes. But at the time, Anderson Silva had such a mystique and aura about him that was actually greater than John Jones. He was dominating everybody, you know, putting his hands down, playing with them. John Jones isn't doing that. You know, he had 2 tough fights in his last 2 outings, and against guys who were middleweights. You know, 2 tough guys, but he didn't look unbeatable in those fights. Anderson Silva he had like that invincibility feel to him when I fought him. But as far as skill set, it's a very interesting puzzle. Yeah, I think it's more of an interesting puzzle as far as skill set, but not maybe as much as a puzzle when it comes to mindset and like keeping mental focus. You know, like not letting the moment get to you and all that.
Do you think a win over Reyes means John Jones is next for you?
You know, I think there's definitely a good possibility for that, for sure. You know, I mean, given my credentials at middleweight, you know, being a multiple-time world champion and then coming up in weight, going against a guy who's undefeated at light heavyweight, ranked number 4, if I go out there and make a statement and dominate him, because, you know, the other guys in the top 5, you know, from what I'm not good at, I don't look at the rankings and stuff, but from what I'm being told, I think most of those guys already fought John Jones and lost to him. And if I take out the number 4 guy, yeah, and then you look at the skill sets and you put them on paper, and I think I am a bad matchup for him, if there is any, for John Jones. That's it.
Oh, I was going to say, I heard you got revenge last night on Volante with that match.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm not retweeting your Twitter, okay? I told you I'm not retweeting your tweet. Don't go to James Lynch's Twitter. See, I just hooked you up.
Yeah, that's fine. There you go.
I know, there you go. I hope no one's watching.
What happened in that game, though? I mean, it was really a beating.
Yeah, shut up, bro. I hate you. Seriously, you're never welcome back. Jim Walter, my manager, invited him to watch me and Volante play Madden, and literally, Volante never beats me in Madden. That's my game. But I haven't been playing that much, you know. and we're playing on Xbox. I'm used to PS4. And all right, he got one on me, and the cameras were there, and I had a meltdown. I had a freaking meltdown. I hate losing, and I hate, especially to him. He sucks. He's so terrible. He runs one play on defense and 3 plays on offense. He sucks. But I lost. He had a good game. You know, what can I say? You know, it's a game. You know, it's a video game. Sometimes the computer, you know, messes you up.
You got your revenge, though.
Is that the most devastating loss of your career?
Bro, I'm freaking devastated. You guys, I don't even like talk. I'd rather talk about all my losses one by one right now in fighting than talk about this. Seriously, I'm like, I started sweating. I'm done.
But you beat him the game after, I heard.
Yeah, I did. I dominated him the game after.
What was the score? Like, we need some insight.
I don't remember. 14-2. I got a safety.
When we talked to Dominic Reyes yesterday, and he was talking about your weaknesses, the weaknesses he saw in you. He said that you've taken a lot of damage and you've been getting knocked out. And he also said he wasn't sure moving up in weight would be good in that department. What's your response to that?
So if he's questioning my chin, I think if you look at all my fights, it's not like I'm getting, you know, sat down with jabs or anything like that. I'm not like getting wobbly legged or anything like that. If you look at the 2 fights where I got hit with big shots, it's really the Yoel Romero fight and the Jacare fight. And I think in both those cases, it was technical issues that I made. And Yoel Romero, I shot to the wrong side. He was coming off the stool super late in the 3rd round. He looked exhausted. I'm like, all right, listen, 1 takedown on him, it's over. I shot my head to the wrong side. He came over with a beautiful knee, and boom. I mean, that's a knee that probably knocked out anybody. I didn't go out. I was still moving, holding on to things, trying to go. But, you know, I don't think that's anything with my chin. And then my Jacare fight, that's a fight. He actually hit me with some things in that fight, and no issues at all throughout the whole fight. And then 3rd round, I mean, I'm winning, and he's trying to circle me down. I'm circling out, and I'm like, you know, I'm stopping, going to throw a big right hand. He throws his right hand, and I didn't slip my head out enough, and he connected on a huge shot. And I think it's another huge shot that probably would have put down anybody. So it's not like I'm getting hit with these little clips, and you know, you see me wobbly. Yeah.
Chris, when you're winning, you know how it is. Everyone loves you. Everyone thinks you're the best thing in the world. You start losing, no one's around. No one's, everyone starts doubting you. You've obviously shocked the world before. What would you say to your doubters now?
Doubters, just make sure you watch on Friday night. I'm super excited to be like, what's up now? Yeah, I just, the doubter, I love having my back against the wall. I love having doubters, to be honest, because I just love to be like, hey, look, you're wrong. You know, I'm not cursing, but in my mind, I get a little pissed off, like, what's up? But, yeah, I like it.
Backstage at UFC, it was 238, you were a guest fighter. You seem a little superstitious about fighting in New York again. Is that still the case?
I just told them, listen, I knew there was going to be a New York card in November. I'm like, I want to fight in October. I'm ready to go. You know, listen, my last fight was in November, and I was itching to get back in there right away, to be honest, after that fight. I felt great in that fight. You know, it's not like I had a terrible fight. Maybe strategy-wise, especially after watching Jack Hermanson fight him, maybe I should have used my wrestling and jiu-jitsu more. But I felt so comfortable standing with him. I felt like I was picking him apart to where I didn't really need to. But after the fight, I was itching to get back in, and then all of a sudden I had injuries, you know, and I think a lot was to do with like me cutting all the weight I cut and trying to stay super disciplined with food. I think it was just too much, and so yeah, to be back at a normal weight, and I just want to get back in there. I'm healthy and ready to go, so I didn't want to wait till November. And listen, I was all about like Madison Square Garden hasn't been the greatest. It's crazy. I mean, both Yoel Romero and Jacare, I'm winning both fights, and I'm in that 3rd round looking good, and kaboom, in front of a home crowd. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. So I'm just looking forward. I just wanted to get out of that a little bit, get on a plane and fly somewhere, and kind of get back to what I was used to doing when I was fighting. You know, not, you know, yeah.
You're not superstitious, but I mean, Boston's kind of the opposite of New York. Do you feel like you'll have your best performance here because it is the opposite?
Yeah, that's the goal. You know, absolutely, man. I want to look. You know, Weidman 2.0 this fight. That's what I wanted to look like in there, and I think a change of scenery I think is a good one. And to go to Boston, where like New Yorkers don't go to Boston, Boston guys don't go to New York. It's just kind of like you forget that it's actually 3.5 hour drive. Like I never went to Boston, never even cared about going to Boston. And then when I became a fighter, I came out here for a Reebok thing, and I'm like, holy crap, this is close, and it's really a cool city. It's awesome, people are cool, yeah.
So no frosty reception from Boston fans?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm an East Coast guy. I think I'm not a Yankees fan.
Sure.
I'm a Mets guy. Every time I'm an Islander guy. I'm not a Ranger guy. We'll see.
Giants guy?
I'm more of a Jets guy. That's kind of the way it goes. But listen, I'm a front runner too. If the Yankees, if the Giants, if the Rangers, I'll never root for. That's where I draw the line. But Yankees and the Giants, whoever's doing better in New York, I usually just jump in. The Bills are never doing that good, so I don't really jump on them. But yeah, for the most part,
Why don't you like the Rangers?
Because I grew up an Islander fan. That was like the one sport we kind of watched in my house. I loved hockey growing up, and so I started with the Islanders. And that was my team. I loved them. And then I remember we were getting fights in elementary school. Like if a kid wore a Rangers jersey, it's like like there was serious beef. I didn't hang out with Rangers fans, and they didn't hang out with Islander fans. It was kind of like there was a separation there. Yeah, but Yankees and Mets, I never really cared that much, to be honest.
I know Wonderboy Thompson trained with you for this camp, as he usually does. How long did he spend with you for this camp? Because he has his fight coming up in New York.
Yeah, he was just out. He was just out a week ago. Not for long. I mean, 5 days or something. It was good. I think just for the both of us, like it's a comfort zone thing. We've been training with each other for a while. He's been really busy. They got a new school. They just opened up, 6th school out in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and so he's pretty busy helping out with that. So he couldn't really come out for too long, but it's not like he's Dominic Reyes at all. It's kind of like just kind of a comfort zone thing. Good training partner. Who's just a good dude to have around.
You mentioned you're a big Good Will Hunting fan. You're in
yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
Any chance you tell the boss, hey, how about we get Matt Damon, Ben Affleck in the audience?
Yo, Dana, get Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in the building. Let's go. Yeah, I love that movie, man. Yeah, how about them apples? Yeah, I love that. That movie's freaking awesome because I'm kind of like Good Will Hunting in my mind. Like I'm super smart. So, yeah. But I'm acting like a blue collar guy, but I'm really like just super smart. You won't know it though.
I think that's good.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Grab your water.
Yeah, you had to ask. No, this ain't mine.
Oh, it's not yours.
Same mine,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was giving you props, actually. I was trying to save your face.
No, but you wanted to bring up Matt, and now I'm sweating. I put deodorant on.